right, we're live! We are recording session 42! When I first started this, I didn't intend it to go for 42 sessions, but I am quite happy that we are at session 42. How's everybody doing?
Not bad.
Doing great.
Doing pretty good.
How are your 18 orphans doing?
Probably traumatized?
Probably. But also very experienced. I'm excited to see how these characters carry forward into the future. So let's start by rewinding just a little bit into the past. As the previous session, we ended with some successes on the water. Definitely you got the artifact out of the vent. Split the serpent in half. Of course, now there's two serpents, but they're only half as strong, so that's a plus. But I want to step back for a little bit, step back a few moments in time to when the Radiance and Lightning teams finished their disabling of their artifacts. And I want to start with the Radiance group. And I want to talk a little bit about what you guys are going to do with the Shadow Man, who Gallista just has unconscious over her shoulder. If nobody has any initial suggestions, Gallista's going to approach Leica.
Okay.
And say, you have strung true and sung words, Bard, and I honor you for this. My instinct is to rip the shackles off this man and let him succumb to his own dark spell. But I know not the truth of this spell, and he may yet have knowledge to share. I leave it to you. What would you have me do with him?
Let us see if we can glean any information from him before we let him to his own devices.
Very well. Then I shall carry him along with your fellow child who is on my back as we journey forward. So she slings him back over her shoulder and continues. And down the streets you guys go. Lightning team, you guys are getting ready to pack up and leave with the Petrish. But the Petrish are dealing with the fact that the fight that they've been holding off against is just getting thicker and thicker and thicker. They're ready to make a big push to try and get you guys clear, but only one of them will be able to come with you. Reggie, you've been given a device to help control that one little... it's technically a repair model, but it's roughly humanoid. Did you guys want to do anything for the Petrish and their conflict before they make a hole for you guys to run through?
Could Henri try and use Anui's gaze to try and provide them with some strategic guidance?
Anui's gaze will give you information about where and what things are, but it will not necessarily imbue you with any wisdom. Anui is known for having excellent vision and very poor understanding.
But I imagine the Petrish probably have high understanding, so if they have information, they can stitch that together.
Indeed. So you could, for example, give them a very accurate map of the oncoming troops.
Okay.
Yeah. So
definitely going to do that.
Cool. Go ahead and tax your... I guess you're doing this with a little artifact, right?
Correct. I've got to focus.
Okay. And then give me an artistry plus perception check to draw them a map.
Okay. I was looking to see if there's anything else I can do. Does anyone else here have artistry or in the lightning group?
Even if they did, you would still need to use it to show them what to draw. So it comes back on you. You're the one whose eyes are going to glow.
Okay. Yeah, I was maybe gonna like try like speaking to them and like having them draw while I'm like whispering in their ear or something like that. But okay.
That would just be artistry of words as opposed to artistry of pen, but it's the same
Yeah.
role either way.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, artistry is not specifically drawing pictures. Artistry is anything that involves, using the powers of your mind to craft in someone else's mind an accurate depiction of what you'd like them to see, feel, or understand.
Cool. And then may I use my focus pips for that or
Yeah, you're using magic to do this, so that's okay.
and would that be before or after I apply the tax that I just incurred?
Oh, I see what you mean. That would be before. Whenever you're, uh, yeah, whenever you're doing a roll that involves tax, you always apply the tax after. So you get all the full benefit of your ability during the roll, and then you get tired.
Cool. Okay.
All right. From the battle plans that you have laid out, they have figured out a way that they can actually spare a soldier instead of a repair droid. If you would like to have a soldier accompany you, Reggie. This would be a Petrish combat model that would be bound to the little remote control gauntlet that they've given you. The soldier models are less adept at repairing things, but are more adept at smashing things.
I mean, do we want to repair a thing? Or a smashing thing?
I guess it depends on if we have any foresight into what we're heading into. Where are we heading after this?
You are heading to the marketplace, where you're going to go down into the sewers to the steeple of the ancient 10,000-year-old church. You're going to descend the rope that leads down into the church, which is in this sort of deep underground section of the old city. And then outside that church, in the cavern, there is another building that has a well, and you're going to go down that well even deeper into the earth, where there is a series of caverns with a river running through them. And it is in those caverns that Sappers is casting this spell. You probably are going to meet up with at least one of the other teams. Who knows who's ready? You guys haven't gotten any word from the Steam group, but it sounds like the Radiance group is done and is going to meet you there.
Got it. So Sappers probably is gonna be combative, I assume, if they're caught wreaking all of this havoc. So maybe an attack person could be cool, but I'll leave it to you, Reggie. Like whatever you think makes sense.
I mean, I guess we'll take the repair model. That was very effective. Repairing stuff was effective.
Okay. You were going to have the repair model available to you either way. Kristen's cleverness has made the combat model available to you, but you're under no obligation to take it. The
Well, we're
Petrish,
gonna both. I guess we'll take both.
Oh wait, we can take
the-
both.
no, the Petrish are not able to bind both to your gauntlet. If
We
a
can get
Petrish
one.
commander was going down there, then they could. But for a human, it would be too much for your tiny human mind to comprehend, at least
Nice.
according to them. But here's the cool thing: the gauntlet basically lets you. So what the gauntlet has on it is it has some gears and dials that let you change the motivations of the drone that you're with. The drone itself is not sentient, and so by adjusting what its motivations are, you can try to convince it to do any of a variety of tasks, which basically means you're rolling your persuasion instead of whatever that task would normally require.
That
So basically, it would allow Reggie to do persuasion attacks.
If you take the combat drone, yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't remember what the repair drone. Does that repair us?
No, you use the repair drone to disassemble the device.
There-
The device was trapped with an electric trap, and Reggie used the repair drone to take it apart without you kids getting hurt. The drone got hurt, but yeah, it's just a drone.
there are enemies in the pit potentially. We've been there. I think this is actually from where we entered when we explored there, right?
Yes, the first time you were down there,
Yes,
you
it's
fought some
definitely
trolls.
there.
Yeah.
So there's definitely enemies. So having a combat drone is not a bad idea. The other thing, though, is that Callista is going to be there. We're going to be with Callista.
Wasn't there like a monster?
Last
Yeah,
time you were
it's like
down there,
a
there were
weird
3
serpent
trolls.
monster.
Yeah.
Well, there was a serpent monster when we were down there.
In the cave? Oh, that was a different cave, but yes, there was a crazy serpent monster, and those caves are likely interconnected. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll take a combat drone then,
Alrighty.
just in case. Combat drones can break things. I just kind of like repairing things.
Yeah. Just break it till it's repaired. I was gonna say too, one thing to keep in mind. I know for me, a lot of my characters are getting to the point where they're tapped out, and we haven't had a chance to rest. So if we are gonna be facing a lot of combat, I don't know how effective like my characters are gonna be. I'm not sure about everyone else here.
I do have a question. Like these are supposed to be, what's it called? So are these like ambassadors, Petrus that were coming here to town to like, do trade and stuff?
Yeah, they came here specifically at the request of the drug addict woman, who she was trying to start up her own new craftsperson's guild, and wanted raw materials to be shipped by the Petrish. But the last time the Petrish were here, some anti-mage people blew up their train, and the train is a Petrish, so they were very upset about that. So they brought security this time.
Okay, so I was saying what kind of stuff they actually brought with them besides, like, I guess, is it only just raw material they have with them for trade?
No, they were here to negotiate. They did not bring any materials.
Okay.
They were here to find out if it was a trick to try and kill them. That's what they were here for. And you've convinced them that that's not entirely what's going on, at least. So, yeah.
The people who invited them were not in cahoots with the people pulling the trick.
Right.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if there's anything I can help, like, I was trying to see if there's any, like, alchemical stuff I could, or like stuff like help for the people that are starting to like weary out, basically get them super caffeine, like energy drinks, basically to maybe recover some tax. But like probably it will come back a little bit later at a bigger force.
Well, let's get to the the point where you meet up in the marketplace with the other groups, so that we have the Lightning and Radiance groups together now. Now that you've gotten everything you can get out of the individual situations you were in, you guys move forward. Now with a Petrish combat drone, you guys are able to easily fight through the couple golems that are distracted from their main agenda, fighting the Petrish. And the Radiance group has Callista. So between the two, you guys make it to the marketplace, to the entrance to the sewer safely. So this would be Chryslisar, Nest, Reggie, Anre, Bax, Kyleel, Araxi, Elros, Zara, Kofrik, Mari, and Laika. It's not quite your whole crew, but it's a very big chunk of it. There's 12 of you, 12 children there, along with Galista and other miscellaneous things. And Galista bids everyone to gather round as she wants to give an encouraging speech. She says, breathe in the air. You feel that. That is your city. Your city. And then she leans over and whispers, what's the name of the city?
Leica leans over. Sleep-ray.
Excellent, thank you. So, I want everyone here, everyone who is calling this place home, this great city, I want you to reach into your heart and find your fear. We all have fear in our hearts, but we are going to do what great heroes do. Grab that fear, shake it, and say, you're my fear. You do what I say. You do not make my legs to run away, but into the danger. You do not raise my hands to cower, but to strike at my foes. Do this, and we will all save Celery Bay! And as she badly mispronounces the name of your city, a wave of energy echoes out from her mouth. A shock wave that leaves cracks in the pavement of the marketplace. But it doesn't push you away. Instead, you feel it pulling you in towards her. There's a warmth to it. Everybody recover 2 tacks, and also you may move up to 4 tacks into your stamina. For those of you that have magic items that you're taxing, if you have the relevant skill where you can move tacks from those into stamina while resting, you may use it. Everybody catch that?
Yeah, sorry. What was that again?
2 tacks restored, 4 tacks can move, and this counts as resting for the purposes of talents that trigger while resting.
Wonderful. Which would mean like those taxes against focuses and staffs and whatnot could be restored.
Yeah, if you have the talent, I forget what it's called, but there's a talent where when you rest, you can move tacks out of your magic items and into your own stamina. If you've got that, you can use it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I have that, but is then otherwise it would just be normal taxes, isn't it? Could be restored.
But don't forget to do it to both of your characters that are here.
I can't restore the taxes on my shield, can I? Unless I have stuff to do it specifically.
Right. There is, I'm just going to find the skill so I can call it by name here. Give me just a moment.
Is this for lightning and everyone but steam, basically? Lightning
Basically
and light?
everyone but steam, yeah.
Steam's a little busy.
So esoteric focus is the talent that you can do it, but also if your item has the property renewable, it also has that ability.
Got it.
And you mentioned 2 tacks restored, 4 tacks moved.
Correct. So in total, 6 tacks can be sort of nullified, but 4 of it has to move into stamina. The other 2 are just 100% healed.
Heck yeah.
That is Gallista's inspiring speech. And so now, on behalf of Celery Bay, she is ready to lead you down into the depths. It's cold in the cavern. You're come from the bright morning sun, but it's an autumn sun, and it has not had time to warm the earth below it yet. The sewers are also a bit moist, but once you get down below the steeple and you're down into the true caverns, it's cold and dry. And then it gets wet again as you descend the well, and the mist from the river is kicking up. And all of you file in on one side of a room through which a rushing river is flowing down to the ocean that it meets just below. It must be really close to the ocean, too. You've gone down quite a bit, so you're thinking about the slope of the city. You must be pretty near to sea level, where this river is going to basically just wash out into the bay through some underground cavern. Fresh water mixing with salt. And on the other side of that flowing river, of which there is no bridge, but you can see a well-lit room. The cavern is glowing with magic. First, and most obvious, there is a great spherical shell in an amber orange that is entirely encasing the far side of the chasm. In the middle of that, surrounded by mystic runes on the ceiling and strange carvings on the floor, is the wooden elf, Sappers. Sappers turns and smiles and says, "Children, how wonderful to see you! What do you think of my spell?"
I would like to, unless Reggie wants to go with negotiations, I would like to say, and perhaps use persuasion. Why, Sappers, this spell is beyond my imagination.
Isn't it wondrous? And at such a small cost.
What's the cost?
Oh yes, of course. As a kindness to all of you, I have given you armlets that make you immune to the cost. You will still reap all the benefits, of course. But the cost is 10% of everyone's soul.
And the benefit?
The benefit? Oh, yes. I realized as I was traveling with Peladia that nature itself had a soul, and that soul was reacting to aggression in the creation of trolls. So I thought, why can't civilized society benefit from this? And I developed a spell that puts the collective soul of a city into the city itself, so that the city will spawn defenders to protect itself from invasion, and even to police itself from within.
While that is indeed a wondrous and incredible spell.
Can you imagine being mugged in an alleyway and the very brick walls around you come to life to protect you? Such wonders.
As wondrous as it would be to take a part of someone's soul without their permission is a grave trespass.
Well, permission is always a funny thing when you're dealing with the child races. They can't really give permission. They're not adults.
I see there is a lack of consideration.
But we who are their guardians are making this decision for them. I come from an order, long before I was with Peladia, the Order of the Thousand Years. We have endeavored to help those who are not blessed with the elven lifespan to live longer, fuller lives. And sometimes it must come with experimental costs. We cannot save everyone. That is an unfortunate truth of nature. But we are working hard to improve upon that.
I have to object. As wondrous and as good-hearted as your intentions are, and I can tell by how wise and prudent your decision is to do so, is I know you're wise beyond my very short years. But for myself, my friends, and the community that I come from, free will is a deeply compelling and necessary aspect of life. And without that, no matter how safe something is, the domination and control is not something that breeds happiness. So no matter how long your life is lived, it really doesn't matter if you're not in control. We'd rather face risks than be infantilized.
Your speech is quite moving to probably most of the characters here, but it just seems to like wash over him like a river pouring around a rock. He smiles through the whole thing, listening, and but you don't get that sense that he's sincerely listening. You get the sense that he's filing this as, ah yes, argument 35B. And after listening to it, he says, yes, many of the child races, never getting an opportunity to live to adulthood, rarely get the opportunity to find the perspective to really understand these issues. And it fills me with great sadness that the humans among you are not likely to live past 80. Maybe get to 100, maybe start to get some perspective, but you all die before you ever become adults, and it is so heartbreaking to us, which is why we do what we do.
Then you don't appreciate the wonder of children, and I don't know why you bothered to save us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elros as an elf. I am one of your elf, and I've spent many years before I came to this orphanage. But I felt like just the 1 year of here was worth more than the many years before it. I don't think that living a long time is necessary of understanding. I believe that how you use that amount of time, because you can see like the great wizard of I forget her name already. She has not lived as long as a bunch of elves, but she has like impacted this world more than like elves 4 or 5 times her age.
You strike upon the very point. Imagine if she could live to 1,000, as all people should have the right to. The things she could invent. She's brilliant, genius, and she'll never get to live out more than 1/10 of her potential. How tragic is that?
But that's why you have students, because then you have someone to live out your legacy. It's not about you in that general direction. It's about what you impact on the world. You can live for thousands of years and not put an impact in this world. Or you could live for like 10 years and impact more than you could.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
While this is happening, can Nesby investigate the particular magics that are involved both in the shield and with the spell itself?
Yes, absolutely. So this is an excellent distraction. Well, it seems unlikely you guys will ever convince him. You're doing a great job of keeping his attention not on things it probably should be on, such as the fact that 2 of his power sources are disabled, and the 3rd one is wobbling. So yeah, go ahead. Do an investigation and add your magic potential in to try and understand what the runes are.
All right. So it's not scholarship. Okay.
Could be scholarship. Yeah.
All right. And what is this? Perception, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like trying to actually channel any of it, so it's not empathy.
Right. You're not solving the puzzle yet. You're just trying to read it.
Do I get pips for my casting item for this, or no?
In this case, because you're not really casting a spell, you're just kind of reading. I don't think it would really be useful.
Yeah. Hang
on. If you know the spell Delterra's Toolkit, however, and you want to cast that before, then you could get pips from that.
I don't think I put that on Nest yet. I don't think I had this.
No worries.
No, I did not have the space. Okay. I just had to check that clarity did not apply here, or was clarity something different? Subterfuge. That's 6 success. That was scholarship.
Nice. So there are 2 spells going on in this room. One of them is the spell you guys have been fighting against, the one that's putting people to sleep. And that spell is sort of wrapped up in the air above him. But there is a second spell which is creating the barrier. And this is a modified version of Globe of Invulnerability. It is an area of effect. And it is been adjusted to also be protecting the interior from the spell. This is interesting because the spell may or may not even affect Sappers in his current form. From what you understand, and with 6 successes, you have a pretty good understanding of what you're looking at here. The energies from the spell are affecting humanoid organs to cause sleep by inducing chemicals in the brain that would make you sleep. A creature made entirely out of wood would have no such chemicals and would probably not actually be subject to the spell. But he seems to have wrapped himself in a protective thing anyway, which would indicate that he never bothered to test if it worked on him or not. There's a note of carelessness about it in that respect.
Sappers? Careless?
And you do see that in the spell, the city spell that he's cast, the 2 of the pillars of energy are down. They're just not sending energy in, which is definitely slowing the spell. And the of the other 2, one of them is like wobbling as though the team that's out in the ocean is yanking on it, getting ready to mess it up.
Question. Is the sphere, the globe of invulnerability thing, is that also being powered by these pillars?
It seems like it is, yeah.
Right.
It seems like he modified it quite a bit. And it seems like something where if it's not getting full power, there may be exploits that will become available to it. You know that was Delterra's hope. She's hopeful that when that 3rd one goes down, she's going to be able to hack through it.
Right. I was just checking to make sure that was still a possible plan, because if it wasn't being used by that, we still have to get the shield down. If not, I think we could...
Yeah, right now, unless for some reason you would like to help Sappers and let him complete the spell to grant Celebre its own personal city troll army, then
At the cost of 10% of everyone's souls.
Yeah, of everyone breaking off 10% of their soul and feeding it into the city. Yeah.
I have the wrong character here for that.
Let's just go through each of the characters. You only have 2 each. What do your characters think of this? I think Jackie, was that was Leica?
Yeah.
I think Leica's made her perspective on it well known. What is Bax's perspective on this?
As far as Bax can tell, Sappers is hurting everyone. And that's not good. Like, they did not look like... I mean, a bunch of people's throats got... Like, fellow Crimson Guard members were slain while they were prone. Super bad vibes.
Do you want to ask about that? I know Bax wasn't specifically there for that, but probably found out from the other kids.
Yeah. If Galista saw that, for sure.
Yeah.
And so did Leica. And Leica probably would have been like, hey, it was pretty gnarly.
Galista right now looks like she's studying for exactly where to throw the guy she's carrying to hit Sappers most effectively when the shield goes down.
She's like, it's like looking at a pool table.
Yeah, she's lining up her shot.
Bax is just going to be like, Why'd you hurt all those Crimson Guards?
Oh yes, with the little man. I see you brought him with you. Well, you see, when you have a large number of souls getting stitched together like this, there can be some conflicts, especially in a city this big. Like, some of the souls will be criminals. So I wanted to make sure that a larger percentage of the souls going in would be of some amount of decency and authority. So I had him deliver some souls at 100% instead of 10%. Actually, the original plan was to take 10% of the population and have them give 100% of their souls, but it wasn't until you guys showed me how to stitch myself into a troll that I realized I didn't have to do that at all. I could just take 10% from everybody, mix it in, and then nobody had to die. Well, a few of them had to die. I mean, you need there to be some kind of majority influence to suppress the minorities.
Like is going to ask a question, and so just a technical question, Sabbers. Given the ratio of good to bad influences, or majority versus minority influences, is it possible for minority influences to express themselves?
At first, yes. They'll be expressive, and slowly over time, the majority will repress them, will push down the minority, and then there'll be fewer minority contributions, and then the majority will sort of overwhelm and take over, and the city will have a singular cultural identity. Spiritually, I mean, the people will still be completely crazy. He just keeps saying the quiet part out loud for some reason. All right, so that was Bax. Let's see. Just going on the list here, Reggie. Did you have anything? What's Reggie feeling about this situation?
I mean, Reggie's all for individual expression, so.
Yeah, this is like, I think this is bad for everybody, but it's good for each of the characters to get a moment to sort of express how they're perceiving all of this and what's going through their minds. What about Mari?
I don't know how Mari feels about this. I mean, she doesn't like it either, but I don't know that she has a particular argument, really.
She comes from sort of, I mean, we've made a big point of it, her being culturally different, and like she doesn't understand the difference between crickets and foxes. But yeah, I mean, cities are cities, right?
Yeah.
And people are people. Does she have any opinion of the like elf versus human like lifespan difference that Sappers was talking about?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so like, well, I mean, yeah. So basically, Reggie, Mari shrugs and says, "You don't have to live a long time to do important stuff." And then Reggie says, "I mean, my species basically runs the West." And he shrugs and he says, "The elves didn't seem to do so well."
Historically, they lost a continent, so yeah. Cool. Let's see. Kristen, what is Andre thinking about this from his perspective?
So I think Henri is kind of slowly being influenced by the Moon King in some ways, and already was kind of just a pessimistic kind of guy. So generally speaking, he's kind of just like, oh yeah, seems pretty cool actually. And I mean, you like Sapper says, like at least they're not having to like kill many people for this. It's just like taking 10%. Like that's nothing. Everyone still has 90% left.
That is a very Moon King kind of step back and be neutral kind of perspective. Absolutely.
There's nothing neutral about taking something from someone without asking.
I guess that's actually true. Maybe like Henri would also wonder like what the exchange is,
And is it a fair one?
if there is balance.
The people are certainly losing something, and what's happening is a new thing is gaining that something that they've lost. But will that thing be loyal to them? It'll be loyal to some of them. It'll be loyal to the majority of them, perhaps, but not to all of them. There may be a great imbalance in this exchange.
Reggie says elves don't live that long anyway, right?
Yeah, that you bring up an interesting point. Do you want to address that to Sappers?
Yeah, I'll address that to Sappers.
Sappers says, elves that choose to live as children do live shorter lives as a consequence, yes. But any true elf would have seen that my spell was going up a week ago. And they did. And he points at roughly a 45-degree angle up as though he can see it. He says, there's a barrier around the college. So obviously some of the elves noticed that I was casting the spell and opted out. And that's fine.
So, I mean, if you want to live forever, I point at the combat drone and I say, this thing's never going to die.
He says, oh, no, not forever. No. 1,000 years. That's it.
Why does he get to decide that?
Reggie says most elves don't live 1,000 years.
But elven wizards do. Ones who take care of themselves. Real elves, he says.
Reggie says, yeah, I mean, I've read the stories. In my experience, elven wizards don't live very long at all.
Well, not when there's criminals about sniping at them with their guns.
Or other elven wizards.
But the wonderful thing about this spell is that it's not unique. I can carry it to the next city, and the next after that. I can have the whole of the West protected. And when the armies of Aphthis come, they will find that the walls of the cities themselves beat them down. Kristen, coming back to you, what does Zara think of this?
Yeah, this makes Zara really sad. She wants Sappers to stop. She's really young, so she doesn't totally understand everything that's going on, but she's just like, she's seen all of the pain and the misery and the people of the town are going through, and she doesn't like it, and she wants it to end.
Excellent. Troy, what does Crystalsar make of this?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like he's pissed off about it. But
You don't get to punch someone in the face in order to straighten their teeth and say, you're welcome. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh,
I don't know if that would work.
The more Sappers talk... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the more Sappers talks, the more it looks like Callista wants to punch him in the face. What were you saying?
I'm not sure that he would have anything necessarily to say about it. It's more along the lines of, like, he definitely has a little bit of the, I'm sure, Crimson Guard fuel, and just people dying, but also he was learning to to like work with people, and he's always been the like. It's not about just being in the light. It's about being around people. And if you're taking stuff away from people, he doesn't like that. He doesn't necessarily have anything to say to Sapper.
And what about Kofric?
I mean, I feel like Kofric loves it. I don't know.
Oh.
He's. I'm trying to decide what he thinks right now. No, he doesn't. Right. He still comes from heroes and, like this might be what he says, but like don't get me wrong. I'm all about experimentation and building things and making things work. But I don't need to mess with people to do that. I don't need to affect souls or anything to build what I build, to brew what I brew that helps people or does things.
Like, he's so sure that his solution is the best one. When there's a myriad of ways to create a positive change. It requires, honestly, much cheaper fucking ingredients. Like a comprehensive herb garden nutrition plan, like, literally would be a more beneficial thing than golems made of souls, you know?
And you're not even getting a, like, desperate, like, I need to do this to save us all. Like, that's not his mood or his vibe. What you're getting from him is, isn't this neat? Look at this fun toy I've come up with.
It stinks, bro! Boo!
He's being super callous about the whole thing, yeah.
In that case, his ego. You know what? I'm not even that impressed. I take it back. This is the best you could come up with, and with such an expensive cost. A little dirt and a fertilizer would have gotten you further. In less time.
That's how you hurt his feelings. Good job. Let's see. Next up is Vivian. What does Nest make of this?
Well, it's complicated actually for Nest, because the raw idea of it, Nest actually likes. But Nest is thinking like, surely this has to be like an opt-in situation here, right? Like,
it's really not, though. It's really not.
It has to. I mean, it's not. But like, if you were to do this, and Nest actually likes the idea, but it's like, if you were to do this, like, surely there should be an opt-in situation. The whole like elvish supremacy bit is completely like just out of left field for her. But Nest isn't saying anything. Nest is still busy studying and hatching schemes a little bit, but I assume that any vulnerabilities in that shield aren't visible yet until the third one fully goes down.
Right. When the third one goes down, though, the vulnerability is going to occur, at least according to Delterra.
I see, according to my thing, like, trying to anticipate that, like, where that vulnerability might be.
You rolled 6 successes, so I'm going to say yes. There is a very faint, it's almost like tiny misty drops of rain, but they're not actual water, it's aether, it's magic, coming at a direct 45-degree angle from the top of that tower down in here. These are minute little pieces of a spell you may have seen in school, Delterra's Lockpick.
I think probably.
So the way this spell works is it's a spell that feeds on locks that it's opening, and every time it opens a lock, the spell multiplies to go work on other nearby locks, creating this sort of like chain reaction area effect unlocking. And since the only thing that's really locked is this big multi-layered globe of invulnerability, as soon as that globe has the tiniest crack in it, this spell is going to feed on it and is going to just start eating it from the inside. Now, Global Invulnerability is a pretty hardcore spell. You don't think the lockpick is going to destroy it, but you think that it's going to essentially distract its internal regeneration mechanisms enough that there'll be a hole that someone could teleport through.
Alright. I don't have a character point to spend on spell hacking. I never finished it. Ooh.
That's okay. What does Araxi think of this situation?
Again, Araxi again doesn't think that this is a terrible, terrible idea on the basis of it. But in this case, Araxi like immediately sees through the soul balance. Essentially, it's like no, she's not going to get through to sappers on this, but it's going to say anyway. If you were really protecting the city, you wouldn't balance out the. You wouldn't have unbalanced souls in it. You wouldn't pick and choose who you were protecting. And who was picked more for the spell. You would just take it across the board. So I don't think you're actually protecting the city.
More like he's protecting his own interest in having this be a spell he can go sell to other cities. Perhaps. He also just seems quite a bit insane.
Yeah.
Does Araxi respond at all to the kind of naked racism that Sapphiros
yeah,
is demonstrating?
that's what she's responding to here.
Okay.
Is the soul balance is completely wrong. Protecting a city with the community of the city is very good. It's just, you don't pick and choose who's part of the community.
Either all are or none of them are.
It also is probably should have been voted on by the city, which,
Do you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, revealing next little tidbit, he says, "Oh, we tried a voluntary program. That's what Pelladia stopped us from doing when she imprisoned me and her staff. We had a voluntary program, and you know who volunteered? Only the kings. They said, me and no one else. Protect me. Leave the peasants to die. This is far better, I think," he says.
It's an improvement, but it's, again, it's not protecting the community, it's protecting sappers.
Alrighty, and then, let's see. Kyleel. What does Kyleel think of what's going on, coming from an Apthian sort of heritage?
Being a follower of the god of lies, I think that the biggest lie is the ones that we tell to ourselves. I think that you're using all this to justify your own ego, and you're lying to yourself that you're doing this for the greater good when all you're doing is just clinging on to a failed project that you had many years ago that you just want to do. You want the world to see you as this great genius, but you do not need to have this to be your shining moment, which at this point will be your greatest downfall. Is that how you want to be remembered? And also, you said that that this is going to be used as against Apthian. This is the worst defense against Apthian. they have gods that are divine, and do you know what divine magic is fueled on? Souls. They would literally use defenses you give the city against their own people and kill them with their own souls. This is actually would backfire and would cause more devastation than just not ever casting the spell.
As you talk about the souls, is this sort of triggering something inside of Kyleel about like how his family sent him away so that he wouldn't have the soul of an like ancient Apthian embedded in him?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got that sort of context in there. That's good. And then, what does Elros think of all this? Being an elf who potentially would live for a very long time.
He thinks so. Like, yeah, that like this whole idea that like, yeah, the quality always triumphs over quantity, and like stuff. And that like, yeah, like this whole idea of that like of just because you think you have the best idea doesn't mean that you should just immediately enact it and not like talk to other people, because like even though Sapper is a bit old, there's beings that are way older than him that like have probably tried this kind of thing before and have failed, or like have learned to not do it anymore. Like the Lich that we met before once. Like there's many people that are way older than him that have more knowledge on this subject than him.
And that's something that you bring a really good point for everyone to sort of notice here. Sappers doesn't have any minions here with him. There's no second in command. There's no council of the wise. There's really just Sappers. He had the one dude that he had stabbing Crimson Guard guys in prison, and that was it. Like, and even that guy is this crazy person that Sappers gaslit into thinking that he was serving the Empty Prince for some sadistic reason. Like
He's a loser.
Yeah, this guy is a loner who never consulted anybody on this.
Yeah. Also, his idea of like you had your soul ripped apart once before. Why would you ever want to enact that upon someone else? You know that struggle, that pain. Why would you ever have the idea of doing it to other people?
You get the feeling that Sappers may actually be coming from the opposite perspective, saying, hey, my soul was torn apart, so it's totally fine for me to do that to others. Which is also wrong. It's one of those the abused becomes the abuser kind of situations. And that comes back to the Moon King, who's the one who actually tore his soul apart. So yeah, there's more than just one bad guy, but that's another thing. All right, well, as you all sort of think your thoughts and say your piece, that third spot is wiggling. Does anyone with the ability to cast Whisper or Messenger on the Wind or any of those spells, any kind of message delivery spell to the Steam team, want to give them a heads up on what's going on?
Nest hasn't said a word, so I think Nest could be doing that as well.
Cool. While everyone else has Sappers well and truly distracted, yeah, you may cast your spell. Do you need to roll for it, or do you just have
I still have enough pips that I would have to roll for it.
Awesome.
I mean, it's not a prepared spell, but...
yeah, but if you've got 5 pips, then that's
I've got 5
effectively
pips,
a
so
success, yeah.
like... could see how well I cast it, but...
yeah, well, if you have channeling, then that is important, because maybe you cast it for free.
I don't have channeling yet.
Okay.
But yeah, Nest will just do it and just say, essentially that the spell is wobbling. We're talking to Sappers right now, and we need to what? Do we want them to get here, or do we want them to just disable it immediately? I think having everybody there when we disable the third one.
You might not have a choice.
Yeah.
The wobbling.
Is it not already separate?
The wobble is this is Glup putting the paste
Oh, okay.
on each of the ones, and when he puts that paste on the third one, it's done.
All right. In that case, like, as soon as it goes down, come in here because Delterra is trying to hack through as we speak.
All right.
Make it happen.
Yeah, there's a hidden that we can tell them about the access point that we can see that
They already know about it. I think. I mean, we can tell. We don't know that they know. But yeah.
Yeah, Trumpy figured that out.
But we don't know that they know. So.
Right. So you might as well tell them. Yeah.
Might as well tell them. And get angry response of, we know! We're fighting a serpent, shut up!
They'd have to cast a spell to respond, but yeah.
I know.
Okay, so let's get to the final team then. So this would be Shari at the helm, Wampy at the cannons, Glup underwater, Trumpy on the docks, Mina also at the cannons, and Francis also in the water. You guys receive this urgent missive as you're pulling the sphere out of position. Your sticky boots keep you stuck to the ground. Your gloves keep the sphere buoyant as you pull it out of position. The magic in it disconnects from the source of the steam. What do you guys want to do? What's your plan? There's still 2 serpents in the water. You have a boat with cannons. How much ammunition do you have left?
So much. I don't know.
I think there's 6 left or something because I remember you said there was like
we
11
had
or
a weird
something.
number. I was planning on having Wampy try and get a cannon to shoot with only 2 to squeeze out extra shot, I remember.
We have 11 beads left,
You have
which
11
means we have 3 shots.
3 shot. And our boat is what?
Right?
full health
3
now?
shots, 3 beads per shot.
Yes, 3 beads per shot, so you've got 3 full shots, and then you'll have 2 beads left over. Do you want to use those shots on the serpents to try and get a clear sort of exit, or do you want to try and conserve those to fire on sappers if you can find a way to get the boat up the river? Your only message about what's going on is what you just heard, so
Yeah.
how dangerous is sappers, you don't know.
I mean, the biggest thing is if we get the boat upriver, then the serpents can come upriver.
But we could kite the serpents essentially and still fight the serpents while we move the boat.
Yeah, can we try to, like, I wonder if we can try to get in and then basically collapse our entrance.
A single cannon shot would probably do that. That might cause the cavern to flood slightly as well.
That'll just push us faster. Mina's an engineer, just for all of you that haven't been paying attention.
I mean, I was thinking that between Mina and Wampy, they could speed make a ballast, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, you were using wild growth on the wood. So if you do like wood shaping, and Mina does some impressive engineering checks, you might be able to make this a submersible.
We all have
At least
water breathing, so we don't have to worry about that.
Correct. All you have to do is reduce its buoyancy. Holes in the deck on purpose. Shari's at the helm right now. Shari, what kind of a heading do you want to give this ship?
I mean, how damaged are we?
You fully repaired, actually. You are currently
Oh, okay,
undamaged.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing that we did last session, you Yeah. Wampy with wood shaping and Mina with hammer and wrench got it fully repaired, so you're back up to 10 pips. The only serious issue right now is that not everyone is aboard. Trompy's at the docks, and Francis and Glup are underwater.
If we want to get
underwater people are okay, I think.
They're okay as long as we kill the serpent, I think.
Yeah.
They're okay as long as we're attacking the serpent. Or, the serpent is focused on us, rather. That's the main thing.
The two serpents are, yeah. It was gonna... They were going to split up, but then Francis pulled some amazing magic out of their hat. So yeah, both serpents are currently focused on you in the boat right now.
How damaged do they look?
So the original serpent has been split in half into two shorter serpents that are themselves a little busted up, but not very. They're kind of scratched up.
All right.
Sort of a slime situation where you keep bashing its smaller parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to check the health because I didn't remember how much we had beat them up from last session.
Yeah. So
What is it made of?
Stone.
Wampy can't work with that?
The cannons are doing a much better job than Wampy could do.
No, I'm just wondering if you could do a mending thing where you can make it, say, an object that's got so much wood on it that it floats. Or an object that's so immovable, so not dynamic in the water. Rooted to the ground. I don't know. Rooted to the seabed.
Fundamentally, this is just like the other golems you've been fighting. It's just instead of being in a humanoid shape, it's in a sort of serpent shape, but it's a pile of rocks, and the only thing that enables them to maneuver is the fact that they're not connected to anything. They're loose, so they can actuate. If you sealed it all together, it wouldn't be able to waggle its tail to swim, and down it would sink. But, as you did say, the cannons have been super effective, too.
Yeah. Another way would be, if you wanted to conserve it, is like if you believe in your pilot's maneuvering skills, you could pilot so that it's like near the bottom of the floor, and when they come to charge them down, you do a little zoot forward, and they just both bash into the bottom of the bed and hurt themselves instead.
Yeah, so far Shari's been using all of her actions to maneuver the boat to try to avoid damage, but you're right, Shari could try to do maneuvers that cause damage.
Yeah, I'm not interested in using maneuvers to cause damage, but I can use maneuvers to get good shot lines for the people that can do more damage. Like hitting a. It seems like it wants to hit the boat.
They do,
right?
Yep.
So trying to ram it is probably counterproductive. But trying to circle and keep a broadside on it might be useful.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a piloting check to see if you can line up a shot. Your difficulty is 4, and so any amount of successes, you're lining up a shot against one of them. 4 successes, and the shot will apply to both of them as an area effect attack. Because the cannons they're magical force cannons. The force beam goes straight through. It has full piercing.
And what's the pips on the boat?
Currently 10. This thing is ridiculous.
Is it not also at a threshold bonus?
It does. That is correct.
It's like a really good boat. Just like a really good boat.
All right. The boat has lined up a shot for you that goes straight through both of them. before you guys make your shots, I'd like to know what Trompy, Francis, and Glup are doing. Let's start with Trompy.
Have I've relayed all the information that I gathered to the whole team?
Yes, you have.
Okay. Then I can abscond from my investigation attempts and
Anyways, don't forget that your local team, the Steam team, has magical communications with each other. You don't have them with any of the other kids, but everybody that was there when you cast that spell, you're all in comms with each other.
I'll just communicate. I'm all set here. I found what I could find. I'm set to rendezvous. Give me a location and I'll meet you. Or maybe I could get a pickup if that's not possible.
You do have the potion of water breathing if you want to just dive in. But yeah, let's see if does anyone in your team want to meet up with you somewhere?
Yeah, Glup can I can
Want to pick me up?
Yep. Both pick I could get Francis and then you as well, like on both my arms, and I can like.
Well, Francis has Francis needs a little bit of help. The fish is no longer able to assist with the sphere. You could abandon the sphere, but you have a feeling that the serpent would probably just carry it back to its nest.
We need to disable that thing.
Yeah, well, maybe we can head to where Trompy is, because the serpent seems to be in the water, and maybe if we need to get the sphere away from here, like out of the serpent's grasp, we can hide it somewhere on land.
As you make your way back towards land, the aiming for a specific target is a little difficult right now because you're still surrounded by the black fog of sulfur being emitted by the steam vent. But as you come out of that sort of sulfur haze and take a look around, you do see what Trompy was pointing at. There is an underwater cavern. It's a tight fit, but it is there. That's off to your right, and to your left is the docks where Trompy is. So you can go either direction.
I'm inclined to say let's go meet up with Trompy, and then we can deal with figuring out how we're going to get back to the boat.
Yeah, or to
I would
the
say
cave after.
I would suggest from my position on boat is just go to that entrance and the boat picks you up there.
The dock?
The entrance where we need to go to the cavern.
Oh,
The
you guys
boat
are heading
just
to the
picks you up
cavern as
there.
well?
Well, we're going to. I assume that's what we're doing. Obviously, we have a shot, but once the serpents are dealt with, that's where we're going to pick you up.
You're unlikely to be able to swim upstream on a river that fast, but if the boat picks you up and takes you, then you would get to Sappers much faster than if you go to the docks and try to walk.
Got it. Okay.
Even if I tried to climb along the wall.
So it sounds like meeting at the cavern, rendezvous at the cavern, boat picks us up.
Glub makes an excellent point. If you scale the walls, then you're not being affected by the flow of the water.
Scale the walls of the tunnel?
Yep. If you swim into the tunnel, which is underwater, and then go up to where the water stops and get up onto the walls, then the flow of the water would not affect you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How far away is this tunnel from us?
About a round's worth of action.
Got it. Okay. In that case, I don't know. It sounded like Glup, you might be able to go get Trompy and help Trompy get to the rendezvous point more quickly, and then I can head there solo. And as you said, kind of just park myself up on the ceiling.
Because you got the sticky boots. That was a good call, those sticky boots.
Lucked out with those.
Yeah, Glup will go grab the other person.
All right, Trompy, Glup appears to take you into the water.
Awesome.
where you
Enjoy.
meet up with Francis. So Francis, you're just going to walk up the wall, right? And Glup, you're going to climb it with your Anu climbing. And I guess carry Trompy on your back?
Sure, either one of us, because if I take the sticky boots, might help as well.
Cool. Mina and Wampy, you guys have a firing angle to dream of. You can use piercing shots to hit both serpents if you want to.
I think this is too good opportunity for us to pass up.
Each serpent has 27 hit points left. If you're putting the ammo in, show me those dice.
What was the totals that we were rolling again?
So the magic effect of the cannon adds 10 dice to whatever you roll for your marksmanship. So it's
Right.
probably perception, maybe agility plus marksmanship. Probably perception, though. And then plus 10, because the cannon is a force damage weapon.
And do we get pips from the firing angle we have, or is that just an effect?
That is just an effect that's going to cause your damage to apply twice, once to each of the serpents. If you do not kill them with this attack, then both serpents are going to attack the boat with no mitigation. Actually, that's not 1 point of mitigation, because you rolled more than you needed to, but yeah. Very little mitigation. Make sure that you are rolling in the session chat. So I will not be able to see it otherwise.
How's the average roll?
All right, 6 to both. And, oh, 12.
This is my part. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so I was going to have an effect where when you did 10 hit points of damage to them, they would split again. You just did 21 hit points of damage to them. So they do split, but there's not much left for them to split into. So there are now 4 little serpents made up of a few rocks each, slithering at the boat and bumping up against it. For 3 damage to the boat. Actually, no, one of those was mitigated, so 2 damage to the boat. So the boat's down to quality 8. They no longer look to be of a sufficiently threatening size that you couldn't deal with them in melee combat as people. It looks like the cannons are not necessary now. Alright, so yeah, we're back to the top of the order here. Shari, what would you like to do? Your maneuver was super effective.
I will continue to maneuver.
Are you going to try and line up more shots against the little ones, or do you want to start heading towards the tunnel?
Is everybody aboard? And
We have to go to a tunnel to get people.
Okay, yeah, I'll start heading towards the tunnel. Any What's the difficulty on that?
So
The goal is I'm going to start heading towards the tunnel with the goal of trying to keep a good firing angle if I can.
Okay. If you want, because you can still make your piloting roll. If you want to, your piloting roll can be purely defensive, since the big snakes are gone and it's just little snakes now. Little lines of broken rock that are slithering in the water, but they're not a particularly threatening form anymore.
Okay, yeah. Am I still rolling P10?
It's P8 now.
P8 now, okay.
And if you get 4 successes there, yeah, okay. It's impossible for them to hurt you with that many successes right now. So, yeah, you can just go. You can ignore the snake. They're basically bumping up against the side of the boat now, but they no longer have the mass to do any damage, really.
All right, I'm gonna just cruise on.
Cool. What are you guys going to do to make the boat submerse?
Just pop a hole in the bottom. You know.
Mina, it's your boat.
I mean, I don't want to do it. Don't hurt my boat. I mean, I know how this thing's made, so I mean, I know all the points in which to hit that will cause the most reduction without like causing it to just flat out sink.
Right, because what you want is actually neutral buoyancy, not negative buoyancy. That's right.
Right, and so I know. So it depends on what can. I guess the question is, what can Wumpy do?
Wumpy should be able...
Am I directing you in a way?
If you want to, Wumpy can just make that hole by shaping the wood around it, and possibly even just manage the water levels through like a druidic shield almost, I guess. Shield's not the right word. Druidic valve, essentially, to let the water in, let the water out, to maintain neutral buoyancy. That's kind of my idea, at least.
Okay. I mean, manipulating the flow of water, that sounds pretty druidy to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
So do you want...
Yeah, let's have Mina do an engineering roll to tell you where to do it most effectively, and then we'll add those as dice to your druid roll.
All right.
What is the aptitude for this?
Cunning, for sure.
And I get my shipbuilding toward this, right?
Yep.
I keep forgetting. So it's dice if we have a potential.
Yeah. Potentials contribute dice, so you should be rolling a pretty hefty stack here.
Yeah, it's gonna be gross.
Yeah, just don't roll all ones.
I don't think I can. I just mean I just can't. Like statistics.
Jeez. Yeah. All right. Very good. So you'll be adding 10 dice to your roll, Wumpy, to shift this into a submarine and roughly steer it underwater.
I am running a little... my staff is being taxed quite heavily here, but that's why we have it. Yeah.
Okay. So the boat is now a submarine, and you have 3 successes left over. So I'm going to add those as dice to Shari's piloting skill to get you through the tunnel without crashing onto the rocks.
Since there are 3 of us outside of the thing, can we just tell them to where to watch out for to help make sure that the boat doesn't get hit anything?
You can tell them, but they can pretty much see it. It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's not hidden or anything. It's just about steering it properly. Also, Shari has just a ridiculous roll here. So I was gonna be mean and be like, you need another perfect roll, Shari. You got to hit 5. But you're rolling, I think, 13 dice, and you've got 8 pips. It's unlikely you're gonna fail.
And then threshold 5.
Oh yeah, and threshold. Yeah. You have a good team. The Steam team brought exactly the right people for this. Smooth as can be. Trompy, Glup, and Francis just drop on board as you pop up out of the water inside the darkened cave. Now, the cave is dark, so there are 2 questions that are important here. 1, what are you going to use as your source of light, given that everything you have with you was just underwater? And 2, is anybody going to tell the party with sappers that you're on the way?
Wolfie was, I think, was doing the whispering, but is kind of tapped out almost. So if somebody else has whispered, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, Francis does, I believe. Yep, yeah, Francis has it. So Francis can keep them updated and let them know basically that we're on our way. Is there any
Okay.
other information we want to share?
Potentially the how we're on our way.
I mean,
guess
I
so.
think it would be hilarious for us to just crash in with a fucking boat.
Yeah, just you'll be surprised.
Letting them know that you're on the way means that the other team is going to know how many turns they have to hold out before you show up. Otherwise, it will be a mystery that only I know.
Yeah, I think we should. I'll definitely let them know that we're on our way.
Cool. And does anybody have a magical light source or a light source that works underwater or is perhaps powered by water?
Like
Only
anybody
there
got
was
their
some-
moss?
Anybody bring the moss with them? Gave it to you in session 2, my guys.
Yeah, I need to check because I don't
Wolfie
know if
wasn't on
Francis.
Boss team.
Yeah, I don't know if Francis was on Moss team. I think it was Henri.
Well, everyone had access to the moss at one point.
I mean, Glup just started breaking vials at some point.
Surely
Gosh,
this boat has a lantern on it. This is a boat meant for a navy.
Does the boat have moss lanterns?
Yeah, but it was just submerged. We
Can
have
we
2
not
magic.
relight lanterns?
We have 2 magic beads.
If your lantern was powered by moss, then submersing would actually make it light up. But if it was powered by oil, you're not in a good situation right now.
I mean, Wumpy, I guess, could do improvised light. That's not too complicated.
Okay. What does druidic light look like?
Just basically, it's not as quite as bright as like the whole object isn't lit. It instead looks like the object's a moon and it's shining a light.
Okay.
I think that makes most sense. It's shining a reflected light down the cavern.
Ooh, like fireflies. Good picture. All right, then. You've got your light, and you've sent your message. So yeah, back in the cavern with the other team. All right. Nest is the first one to see it because you've been seriously focusing and paying attention to it. But everyone else with magical capabilities notices the third piece wobble while Sappers is distracted giving his grandiose justifications for his weird, like, racist, I don't know what else to describe it as. It's just an insane plan. That really takes into account nobody's feelings or wishes whatsoever. And the third pillar breaks, and his spell is only running on one pillar of energy. And the globe of invulnerability starts to, it doesn't like flicker, it starts to like drip. Like bits of magic start kind of dripping down the sides of it, like almost like it's melting from above. And you start to see sharp white against the amber, little, almost like little, like, digital squiggles, like they're moving in perfect squares as they crack and crease around it. And in a flash of light, appearing in the middle of the sphere next to Sappers, 3 people appear. Delterra appears, but not in her suit of armor. She has 2 crutches that she's leaning against in a posture that makes her look not entirely unlike a cannon. And with a hand on her left shoulder, Mrs. Burtail has come with her, and with a hand on her right shoulder, Miss Maybell has come through the teleport as well. Now, none of them have any protection from the sleep spell. The only thing that's protecting them from it is the sphere. So, while the sphere is in a weakened state, be aware that damaging it or destroying it might cause all 3 of those adults to go to sleep immediately, which could be bad. Delterra does what she came to do and immediately tries to start hacking the sleep spell, which Sappers is quite upset with, and he just grows out one of his arms to be a troll's arm. It is a tree branch, and goes to backhand her, and Miss Burtail, Mrs. Burtail, leaps in the way and takes the hit, getting completely knocked on her ass up against the side of the sphere. Which shows you something. The sphere is bidirectional. The sphere holds people in just as much as it holds people out. And then, as he's winding up for another attack to stop Delterra, Miss Maybell steps in the way and addresses Sappers directly. She is quite angry as you've ever seen her, and she is puffed up in that version that you remember from when you were in Oakbrine, where she was pretending she had magic powers. Like, she looks like she's about to bring the magical fury of the forest upon him. But he just laughs. Says, I know you don't have any magic. I know your only power is to lie. And you can't lie to me. Says, I'm getting everything I want. And she says, what about your lies? Have you told the children why you gave them the bracelets? He laughs. Says, of course I told them. I told them that they're getting a discount on... She says, that's a lie. You gave them the bracelets because you need them to stay alive, and you know this spell can hurt people. Sapper says, of course you read the book. You bought it for me. Of course you'd know all about the troll relationship, the troll mission. So what? So they'll live long, happy lives, and as long as they're alive, I'm alive. Because this troll can never complete its mission to kill the children that were in that orphanage and return into a tree. And Miss Maybell sort of chuckles and says, I thought you said I didn't have any powers, Sappers. When that spell was cast, the children weren't in the orphanage. And he stops and says, of course they were. I heard their footsteps. And Miss Maybell turns to you kids and says, children, the day you met Sappers in the forest, how many weeks had you been in the orphanage on that day?
Don't ask me, man. My memory's terrible.
It was 2 days. Nest will say.
It
This is the
wasn't even
night
that.
that we came there?
You had arrived that morning. You hadn't even had a full night's sleep in the orphanage.
Oh. Yeah. I thought it was 2 days. I thought we had a day there where we were just at orphanage.
Yeah, I think it might have been day 1.
Sapper says, that can't be. Then who was making that noise? And Miss Maybell is just smiling. She says, it's me, Sappers. I'm the one who was there. I'm the one that troll is bound to kill. If I die, you turn back into a tree. No, dear, we're in a cave. You would turn into nothing, for there's no sunlight, no soil, nothing for you to stay alive with. And Sappers looks at her and says, you think you're clever, but that's not the kind of bluff you want to play. That just means I can threaten to kill these children to make you do as I say. And Sappers looks like he's getting ready to grow like roots that will come at you kids, although the barrier is still in the way, so you know he can't quite do that. But Miss Maybell looks up at Sappers and says, you have no idea how far I will go to protect these children. And she reaches down and picks up a rock from the ground next to her feet and hits herself in the face with it, and you hear a sickening crack, and there's a splash of red liquid. And she takes a step back, stumbling, and then almost leaps forward, diving headfirst into the ground with a rock in front of her face. And again you hear a crack as her head hits the ground, and red liquid splashes out from the sides of her face. Sappers screams in a rage, and you see his body is transforming. His feet are trying to grow roots, but there's no ground for them to find purchase in. His head and hands he loses control of as they go up into the air, growing into great branches, sprouting leaves that immediately fall dry and brittle with no sunlight to power them. And then he looks out to the river and sees water. Flowing, precious, life-giving water. And he drops the shield to try to reach his roots into the water. You guys have a split second to react. If the shield goes down, that means that Delterra can no longer maintain the spell. If Delterra can't maintain the spell, it's going to continue to go off as he planned. What are you going to do to prevent Delterra from falling asleep?
His back's injured.
Elros is going to rush over to grab her arm.
All right, Elros, there is a 15-foot gap with a flowing river between you and her. But you are currently in Gallista's backpack. Do you want to indicate to Gallista to throw you?
Yes.
All right, so with all of the precision she was planning to use to throw the Shadow Man at Sappers, she throws you, and with a final word of, "Get him, hero," she falls unconscious from the spell. You need to make a quick athletics check to grab Delterra as you go flying basically into her. This would be agility, and I would take athletics, I'll take acrobatics, I'll take just about any physical maneuvering thing. You just have to get a hand on her to get your protection to cover her.
Okay, so agility and athletics.
Yeah. You need at least one success, or there's going to be problems.
mean, if there's any pips I can give myself, but I don't think there is. I don't think.
What's your costume?
Let me check here. It's Matthias. Matthias.
Matthias the thief?
Yes.
Matthias the expert at grabbing things you're not supposed to grab?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% those are pips.
You made a coffin disappear when we were looking at it.
A coffin made of solid gold. Like, the sheer weight of that is insane.
Yeah, 3 successes.
There you go. So you grab onto Delterra, and she tells you, she says, put your hand on the back of my neck, and you move your hand to the back of her neck, and you start to realize why. As you touch her, you connect into the spells she's been casting, in the same way the spells you cast would have affected her, and you now have access to her toolkit. Her toolkit looks different from the toolkits you guys use in school. There's a lot of additional information, and you can see that threaded through her entire body are fibers of magic almost everywhere, like she intentionally left a spot on the back of her neck for your hand, because anywhere else could have been dangerous to some of the spells that she's prepared. And she is tapping into the spells and dumping them into this citywide spell to hack it and reverse it and send the souls back immediately. But she has just a moment to turn and shout to the rest of your team, "Don't let the roots touch the water." And we begin in initiative order with Araxi. There are 5 roots growing out from sappers across the floor. They have a fair bit of distance they need to get, but they will grow every round. You know from your messaging that the boat coming up from the harbor is going to be here in 3 rounds. So you guys need to hold off for 3 rounds before your full party will be in, and try and stop these growths from reaching the water. If they reach the water, sappers will be back in action.
All right. Well, what Raxi could do is shoot at the base where they are growing from and try and sever as many as she can with crossbow bolts.
Awesome. That is a good plan. I have them labeled as A, B, C, D, and E, and each of them has a place in the initiative order.
So yeah, Araxi's going to... I assume that there's, like, piles of rocks around the area from, like, just where this cavern has crumbled a little bit or something like that, right?
Against the cavern walls, yes. It's mostly been... The space Sappers has been working in has been clear, but he cleared it by just brushing it off to the side.
Yeah,
not by properly excavating it, yeah.
Araxi's going to basically hop up on one of those to get a better shooting angle.
Oh, yeah, and you're on the other side of the river anyway, so there's tons of rocks. Yeah.
And just get a better shooting angle. Basically hasn't even jumped into combat. You just see Araxi hop on the rocks and hears Delterra says that, sees the roots, and thwack, hopefully, with her crossbow.
Okay, go ahead. Take your shots. I mean, at the moment, all of the roots are identical, but they do have different places in the initiative order. So, which one would you like to shoot at?
Is there anyone... All of them are, like, at the same distance, right?
Right. For now, yeah. You're about to shorten one of them. All of them are about 2/5 of the way to the water, essentially.
Well, I'm actually hopeful to shorten both of them, right? Or multiple ones, because I have hand crossbows, so I could change my target if I do enough damage. I don't know what their health is. Give me a second. I'm doing the math. All right.
Woohoo! All right, so those are 8 successes. You're right, you do have 2 hand crossbows. Do you want to split that into 2 groups of 4, or put all 8 into one of the roots?
I think just straight up severing it matters more than spreading damage. I'm just going to try and sever one.
Okay. I guess you'll sever the one that looks the most intimidating or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like, they all look the same. I've just picked my target. Quick whistle, shot.
So we're just going to put that up against Root A. And so you put the shots into the base near where Root A is near the tree, and you see that it has to retract its material to heal the injuries that you've caused it. Bring it back closer to the base. So A is now -8. That is, it's now at 12 out of 50. If it reaches 50, it touches water. Elros, you're up next. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Root A gets to try to regrow. It regrows 5. All right, so Elros, you're go. You're on Delterra's back, so you're on the same side of the river as the roots and the tree.
All right. I'm currently helping her cast spells, or am I just like I'm free to cast a spell?
As long as your hand is on the back of her neck, that's all she needs, is protection from the sleep spell. So you are free to do what you can to try and help your friends.
I'm going to. He's going to try to build a barrier around the roots. Try to stop them, like to give them a harder path to go through.
Okay.
Just stone wall.
This is magic, so yeah, you're improvising.
Yep.
What circle of spell would you say you're trying to impact here?
I think it's a 4th level.
Oh, you're going full on wall stone. Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Let's see here. I was just trying to see if I had advantage here or not. I don't think I can think of anything right now.
Okay, you still get to roll your
My potential. Oh.
Not enough to succeed. Let's see. Wampy's on the boat, which means that it is Branch B's turn.
Oh.
Ooh.
The second branch starts growing slowly towards the water. It has not quite reached the halfway point yet. Let's see. Glup is on the boat. Chrysalazar, you're up. You are currently on the other side of the river from the action. You can cast spells across it, or you can try and do something to try to cross the river.
Okay. What? So the what is the? This is like a large, not river, but whatever things running through here. The water running through here. It's a large thing, large gap to jump across.
About 15 feet across, yeah.
Yikes for a child.
Yeah, like, yikes for an adult. Like, yeah. But not impossible for heroes.
True. I can do more hacking at these things, but I like the only magic I have is magic missile.
It is guaranteed to hit, so
Yeah, won't miss.
Yeah, I'm just rolling my like for magic missile. I'm rolling my arcane and whatever hits, right?
Yes.
Below 5.
So you roll your if you don't have it memorized, then you roll your arcane, and you need at least one success for it to trigger. And if you get that one success, you roll your arcane again, and that's the damage you do. And it bypasses all forms of defenses, mitigation. Like you can't narrate that you dodge it. Like notice doesn't work, resist doesn't work. It just does its damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. It definitely would be more effective if I get closer, but I don't think I can honestly get closer. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
So I said I'm rolling to.
Did you ever learn Blink?
I did not.
Okay, just check.
Which is unfortunate because I still have one ding in my book. But anyway, well, so I roll to see if it does anything.
It does. Good job. Now roll
Wow.
it again for the amount of damage you deal.
Wow.
Okay, a point of damage. And what were you aiming at when you fired it? Because it's going to hit what you're aiming at. There's no shenanigans I can pull.
And I don't know what magic missile can honestly pull off. Like my deal would be cutting off the highest branch, or the furthest reaching branch,
Okay,
or root from reaching any further. But like
you can do that.
that being
yeah.
said, you can cut it anywhere. So yeah,
Like-
the furthest reaching root.
For example, if you hit the tree, then the tree can choose which branch to retract to heal itself. But if you hit a specific root, I can't do anything about that. You hit that root. So if you want to just hit root B, which is at length 23 out of 50 right now, then that would be the furthest reaching root, and you can knock it back.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Cool. It's down to 22. Next up is Nest. How is Nest feeling after what she's just seen?
Yeah, Nest is. Nest definitely like Shallow, like, no, Miss Mabel, no, we get. But also sees Delterra there, and knows that Miss Mabel would have done that without Delterra's approval, at least in Nest's head. So, I guess stoic determination at this point.
All right.
She can't let these roots hit the water or it was all for nothing. So, Nest is going to launch a prepared fireball at it.
Hell yeah. And because it's prepared, there's no need to roll.
Yeah.
So let's see. I believe Fireball is 10 dice of damage.
Yeah. And I don't add anything to that, like pips or anything, right? Like,
Uh,
I'd get pips for my casting item.
to the damage, yes, you do.
Okay.
And because Fireball is area of effect, you may choose to hit more than one branch with this.
All right.
So I'm going to say that you can hit 3 at a time with a Fireball.
Oh, A is definitely the shortest, and there's 3 that we haven't seen grow yet. So I'm going to hit the last 3 in there and just try and
Okay. So you're going to leave B alone, because B is the
leave
longest
B.
right now.
B's the longest, but we have 3 that haven't even grown yet. So I'm
True.
going to hit those 3.
Okay.
And yeah. And you said it's 10 dice?
Yes. I think. I'm going off memory, but yeah, we'll stick with 10. 10 was what we used for the cannons, and they were based on Fireball. Okay, 6 to each of C, D, and E.
Does it do anything extra because it's fire on the tree?
It hurts the tree a lot.
Okay. The thought was that it was fire, but
Maybe if we had some Greek fire or something.
Yeah. It is magical fire as well. It's not exactly fire.
Yeah, it does. It typically we would say flammable things get lit on fire by it. But what it's up against is not just wood, but living wood. The kind that you don't use for campfires because it doesn't burn right. But
I would also like, if it's possible, for Ness to essentially move to how wide is this river? Is this like
15 feet
leapable
across.
river? 50 feet?
15.
15. Okay, it's still not quite leapable.
Not by normal human prowess. By superhuman prowess, yes. And teleportable, and also potentially bridge buildable, because there's lots of stone around. So
that goes to the immediate bank of the river in that case.
Okay.
I am dying for Bax's turn whenever that does come.
Yeah, where is Bax? There's Bax. Bax has initiative 4. So you'll come. You'll get your turn. It will happen.
Eagerly waiting.
All right. Next up is Branch C. Recovers some of its injury, but is still badly burnt. And then we get to the big chunk, which starts with Reggie. Got 5 kids all in a row here, and most of them are actually here. Reggie, what would you like to do?
So Reggie's not a fighter, but I have the combat drone, right?
Yes, and the combat drone you believe could leap this river and get into range to melee with these branches.
All right, I'm gonna have it do that.
Awesome. Utilizing it is a matter of figuring out how to motivate it. So you're going to be making a persuasion check on your little glove to see if you can give it the right motivations to do what you want it to do.
Do I have to talk to it? Does it understand that?
It maybe. They're little dials that are about its internal sort of thought process that you can control. So
Sentiment analysis.
Yeah, exactly.
You're emotionally manipulating it through a machine.
Because it is a machine and it's not sentient, so it would only respond to emotional manipulation. I'm not even sure it's really emotional, but it's as close as Petrish get.
Okay. I
In 5e, I would actually do this as animal handling, but I think,
I yeah, I just start waggling the dials, I guess. And I say, protect your charges. And
That's a real bad dude over there. That tree-looking feller.
Yeah. And I point at I waggle the dials a bit more, and then I kind of thrust my hand out and point at the tree. And then make like a cutting motion.
Okay.
Is it persuasion?
It is. I'm interested to know which aptitude you would like to pair this with.
Let's go cunning.
Awesome. A very good choice for manipulating a Petrish.
I don't think I have any bonuses to this. Do I get any pips from the bracelet, or I don't even... This is just... Yeah.
The bracelet enables this to occur.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Which of the roots would you like to point at? Or do you want to just point at the tree itself?
I mean, the roots are the kind of thing we're dealing with right now, right? So
If the roots reach the water, sappers will resurrect.
I'll point at whichever one's closest to the water.
Okay, that would be root B, which takes 5 damage. At this point in time, all of the roots are further back than when they started. Everyone's doing a really good job. Let's see, next up is Trompy. Trompy's on the boat. Next is Henri.
Is Henri across that 15-foot waterway?
There is a 15-foot gap of flowing water between you and the action, yeah. Until you do something about it, that is.
Yeah. How treacherous is the water? Does it look swimmable?
So it does not look swimmable by something that wouldn't be firmly affixed to the bottom. But yeah, it's flowing. So if you got in and tried to swim, you would probably be washed downstream. But if you somehow were sturdy enough that you didn't float, if you just sink to the bottom and stay on the bottom, then you look like you might be able to walk across.
Can you summon a bunch of grasping skeletal hands to grab your ass while you're down there and shuttle you along?
Unfortunately, this is not Francis.
God damn it! Never mind.
Also, I just realized Henri. I took impaired swimming for Henri, so he definitely does not want to cross that water.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. He's like...
I'm just imagining Henri trying to swim, and then in a few seconds, the boat just hears a thump and goes, "What was that?" As Henri goes flying past them.
Does Henri want to try and use some magic?
Yeah, most likely. I was just trying to think of what I wanted to do. Henri's touch it's not Henri. Anui's touch. Does that require literally being able to touch something?
Yes, but it doesn't necessarily specify what it does. So as you touch something, you're going to make a prayer to Anui, and then you're going to find out how Anui interprets that. So, for example, maybe you touch the rock and say bridge, and it becomes a bridge to the other side. Maybe you touch the rock and say bridge, and it becomes a bridge to another universe.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Be careful how you word your statement, is what I'm going to say.
Stepping stones across this rushing river.
The last character to use Anui's touch was trying to resurrect a dead king and ended up creating sappers.
God damn it.
Yeah, I gotta be careful. I think that rather than using touch, he's going to stick with gaze and try and see what kind of helpful information I can glean with that. I don't think that Henri wants to cross the water right now. He's actually kind of just afraid of that and doesn't even want to attempt it. So, even with, whatever magical abilities he might have. So, he's going to kind of hang back and use Anui's gaze to try and
Now,
glean information.
I will point out, if you do somehow figure out a way to build a bridge, and this goes to everybody, if you figure out a way to build a bridge, you're not just getting yourself across. You're getting Chrysalisar across, you're getting Bax across, you're getting all these characters that are built for melee across. So,
Yeah,
But
that is true.
the flip
You know
side
what?
of that is, if you use Anui's gaze, I'm going to just read to you the rules on how Sappers works in this fight.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking that information could be useful. But right now we do have a lot of people that could head over there. So let me just think how I want to phrase this.
Dave is so excited to hear how you're going to word this.
Sorry, I'm thinking so
You-
carefully about it, obviously.
You know what? You take a beat. Think about it. I'm going to go refill my caffeinated beverage, and I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
This is the peanut butter sandwich challenge. Like there's no way you're gonna get it right 100%. But you can get it right some amount of percent.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll try and we'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to be fun.
All right, I'm ready to hear it.
All right, so I think, can I just say anything? Like, it doesn't have to be like a one or two word thing. Like, it could be a longer phrase.
Yeah, totally. I knew he was listening. He's got all the time in the universe.
Wonderful. Okay.
And Inui is, by the way, not listening to your words, he's listening to your thoughts as you think them. So you can think through a very rapid series of stuff.
I'm also like, by the way, one of the things I'm a little bit worried about is the fact this is maybe metagaming. This is definitely metagaming because Henri doesn't know this, but there is going to be a boat flying down this river at some point. And whatever Henri may construct
Henri knows
here.
this. You guys know, right? Yeah, because didn't Francis send them a message that they're on their way?
I guess so, yeah, but I don't know if Francis really told them, like, on a boat. So, but yeah. So basically, I think what Henri will ask for is, I need a durable drawbridge from this side of the river to the other side where Sappers is. It needs to be large enough for the people on the people accompanying me to cross. And the drawbridge mechanism is on both sides, allowing us to pull the bridge up if we need to.
Okay. And this is 3 attacks to cast the spell.
Yep.
A segment of the air in front of you comes apart as though it was sewn of cloth, and the weave has come undone. And the cloth falls away, and through a portal you see an orchard. And a drawbridge is connecting it to another portal on the other side of the orchard beneath you. And the other side of that drawbridge is another portal, which is on the other side of the river. Inui is not entirely certain why you needed there to be a drawbridge instead of just a portal across, but complied, and now there's a drawbridge over top of one of the orchards on the moon.
Awesome. Just for the spectacle, you know?
Yeah.
Henri will kind of just like wave his arm in the direction of the portal, directing his other companions that are still on the side of the water with him.
Awesome. Which brings us to Zara. Zara, there is now a portal that you can use to get across the river, if you wish. It's trippy and involves visiting the moon briefly, but it works.
Zara's gonna go for it, because she just doesn't realize that this could be dangerous in any way. So she just jumps right in the portal and crosses.
All right, and on the other side of the portal now, face to face with the roots. What's Zara gonna do?
I think her best option is going to be to cast Magic Missile.
Okay.
And she's basically gonna, following suit, she noticed like what everyone else was doing, like targeting the roots that were closer to the water, or whichever root is closer to the water. So she's gonna identify which one that is and aim for that one.
Right now that is Route C.
Cool. All right. So I always need to remember how the heck I need to roll this, but nonetheless, she has esoteric channeling. I can basically roll. Okay, I can roll my arcane, and then if I have any extra successes, it would pay for the
Yes.
cost.
You need at least one success or the spell fails. 2 successes means the spell is free.
Cool. And I don't think I have anything I can add to it. I will need to get Zara a staff probably at some point. That would be cool. But
No outfit, no nothing.
You know what? Actually, thank you for reminding me. This is actually I'm not just making this up, but I had Zara take Magic Missile partly because of the fact that she plays as Randy Gearhands, and I was kind of hoping that like the missiles, like she sees the missiles like in her imagination, it's like a grenade launcher kind of thing. Just like she's imagining like she's like lobbing like a grenade, a la Randy Gearhands.
As the wizard, you can decide what your magic missile looks like. Just know that it doesn't miss.
Totally, yeah. It's basically like, it looks like a grenade, but it is like a homing missile. Cool, yeah, thank you for the reminder there. So I'll add the costume pips.
It's free.
All right, the spell's free. Now you'll want to roll again for the damage.
Same roll?
That roll was your potential? Just flat? Is that right?
Yep, that was my flat potential.
Then yes, same roll.
Ooh.
3 damage. All right. Chris Azar, are you feeling jealous?
A little bit.
All right, and let's see. Mina is on the boat, which means it is branch D.
One could say
Throws
Mina
back
is
by
the
3.
boat.
Alrighty, and now we're up to Mari.
Right. Okay. Not sure what Mari can really do. Mari's definitely not a melee character.
Mari might be feeling quite at home, though, being in a cave.
Mari doesn't like caves.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
She's claustrophobic.
A claustrophobic dwarf. Oh, no wonder she's up in the orphanage. That would be a harsh upbringing.
Well, there's a bridge. She's impressed with the bridge that appeared out of nowhere for no reason, as far as she's concerned.
And is technically in an alternate reality. Yeah.
Yeah. She can whisper to the other group if there's anything the other group needs to know. Just enough to do that.
Okay. Your current understanding is that the other group is on their way here on a boat that's coming up the river.
And relatively well informed, I think. On a boat coming up the river. I mean, a boat could really turn the tide of this. Crashing a boat into a tree is typically bad for the tree.
Firing a cannon at the tree might change things pretty severely as well.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to... I don't know. Is there anything that can be distracted?
It's difficult to say. The central tree looks very distracted by its own distress. So what once was Sappers is sort of transformed into this tree that is wilting for lack of sunlight, trying to grow in a cave. Its roots are desperately seeking the water and the healing life that would bring. But if it can't get them, the tree is going to die. So it's in a state of desperation, putting everything it has into getting to the water and surviving.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any gear on me that I could use. I'm just gonna. I am going to attempt. I am going to throw a rock at it. That's my plan.
Okay. Vigor plus throwing.
Yes, it's not going to be super effective, but that's my plan. Doing plan. It is not effective at all.
But it makes for a wonderful scene. Next up is Bax. Bax, Andre has opened a portal that leads across the river. You can run into melee.
I've got a quick question regarding my shield.
Sure.
So I have a protection bubble. Is that going to protect against the global spell, soul-sucking spell? Like, can I get Callista up is my question with my shield. Active.
Yes. Within your protection bubble, and you tested this earlier, yeah, your protection bubble does protect adults that are in it. You could get Callista up. That's true.
And then the other question I have is how many rounds or how long does that protection last?
It lasts for 5 rounds.
Brilliant. I will use a bead and get Callista up,
Okay.
and we're gonna go together with Leica. My next time around.
I'm going to pair Gallista with Leica in terms of initiative, because obviously Leica can superpower Gallista.
Does that tax my shield?
No, it
Or just
uses
a
the
bead?
bead. It technically it taxed the bead, and the bead has the property that it can only be used once. So once taxed, it disintegrates.
Right. That's how I spend my turn.
Yeah, that is a really good use of Bax's abilities. You said like you had a question about your shield, and I was starting to think in my head like all the different angles that the shield could.
The other question was about absorb, because it says something about attracting powerful magics to itself. And
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to do something crazy with that too. So
I'm waiting to do that until I can get Callista up, so that we can have quite a bit more DPS coming out. So
okay. Gallista's up, and next in the order is Leica.
in that case, I am going to, let me see. I'm going to play the theme song. Callista's theme song.
Gallista rises from her fallen position to the first strummings of her theme song. Time to power up. Are you going to, as you play a theme song for her, are you going to focus on her abilities with a spear or her abilities with a bow?
I'm going to say bow, because I feel like she can, I mean, geez, we can get across as long as Bax is with us. And last for 5 rounds. You know what? Because that won't happen until next turn. Bow.
Okay.
And let me put down some dice for Callista here. I include my psychic potential.
Yes, please. And please describe for me the goddess you are crafting.
It's theme song. So, theme song in this case, what I'm just going to do is talk about how Callista, the storied champion, is rising again to resume her heroic tale.
Okay.
That's all she gets.
You roll a lot of dice for that, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, my empathy is 2, performance is 4, and with a psychic potential of 1 with my carving costume, not too bad.
Callista has a pretty nice bow, too. Bought locally from an elf that runs a shop somewhere here in the town.
Oh my god.
All right, so Gallista cries out in a rage and fires an arrow into a stalagmite in the ceiling, dropping it onto the original first branch that came out. It is badly reduced, not entirely down to its stump, but it's at 6 out of its. It started at 20 out of 50. It's now at 6 out of 50.
Boy, am I glad I got that shield.
It's a very handy device. Okay, and that was Leica and Gallista. Next up, let's see, Francis is on the boat. So we're up to Kofric.
God, I've been trying to think of what I can do. I mean, we can get across now.
That's correct.
So the simplest and weakest thing I can do is pummel shit. Um,
If you want to run through the portal, um, it's a trippy experience. You go through the portal and suddenly you're on a drawbridge leading from like one part of a cave to another part up in the air over top of an orchard where there are wolves sleeping under apple trees and druids wandering about meditating on the ways of the moon, and then you're through the other portal and back in the room, but this time on the other side of the river, and in the midst of Sapper's Roots. Also, don't fall off the drawbridge. They'd have a hell of a time getting you back.
it's as much enjoy like a probably benefit there would be just getting something from there. I'd want to run straight through. There's not a way. I think the only thing I probably would have had to identify these sooner, but I have a random assortment of herbs, and I'm trying to think if there's a way to apply those, but I don't think so. So I think I'm essentially just stuck, like, just smashing roots with my fists.
Okay.
Or you can try stomping on them.
Do you want to concoct a poison? Do you have that ability, or... Yeah, or smash. Go ahead.
I mean, if you have something that can eat, it would.
All I have at this point, like I have medicine, and I don't know, I have unidentified herbs, so it's not useful.
Medicine and poison are the same discipline.
Right, but I can't like make something.
Don't the dice decide that?
The dice decide that.
That's true. It's more so that I don't know how that works.
So, just a little suggestion. One of the things that a lot of your comrades have been doing is damaging these things. You could try applying something that would make it hard for it to grow back. So when a lot of times if you cut a branch off of a tree on purpose because you're pruning it, you'll put tar on the spot where the tree was cut so that the tree doesn't try to regrow that branch. It's not a complicated solution. It's something that you probably could rig together with the simple herbs you have with you. Hi, baby.
Got it. Making an slow-moving substance, or just sappy or whatever
Right.
substance that it finds difficult to travel through.
And you're dealing with crazy magic anyway, so there's no reason you can't throw something crazy in.
Yeah. Okay, I can try to do that. That sounds completely feasible. Okay, so I have. That sounds like medicine and cunning. If I'm using the random herbs I have, do I take those for anything, or do I just... The fact that I can do this is what I can do?
If the herbs have a quality, you can add them as pips. If they don't, then this is what you can do.
Okay. And I assume use it, like, so the herbs that have quality, so I reduce the herb quality for using it, I would think. And then that's what I got.
Cool. Let's see, which of the branches is that up against? Your branches are currently at 6, 17, 15, 17, and 14. You think of those as feet towards the water.
I have a difficult thing. I'm wondering who can... Like, if there's any AoE shit, I don't want to affect them now. If we stop one.
If it was me, I'd attack the shortest one and prevent that one from growing. Since it's pretty far back, we can focus our energy on the longer ones.
That's good. That's a fair point. So A got reduced the most, right?
Yep.
So we'll just keep A from growing as much as possible.
All right, so you apply a -5 penalty to A, which is going to mess with its attempts to grow when it comes up. It will be rolling 5 less dice on its next attempt to grow. And actually, all future attempts to grow until it gets cured of this, if that happens. All right, branch E gets to grow now. It has almost grown back to where it was before it got fireballed. And last in the initiative order is Kyleel.
All right. Kyle is going to go through the portal.
Alrighty.
He's gonna like go up to close as he can to as close to the tree as he can. And he's gonna put his hand on the branches, so he has some kind of connection to sappers, and he's going to channel some divinity, and he's going to make he's going to give sappers a phobia. He's going to give a hydrophobia.
All right, let's go ahead and see those dice. All right. Your spell goes off. You see it sink into Sapper's mind, and you see it just kind of get absorbed. It's not that it did nothing. It's just that Sapper's has the tax to take it. But it did tax the core of Sapper's, not one of the roots, but the actual Sapper's being. And now it's Sapper's turn. Sapper's is in a panic. Sapper's is not looking at people, is not targeting anyone. Sapper's emits a great roar, and fallen leaves, dry, brittle, and cutting, slash out in all directions.
Does my shield protect against that? Projectiles?
Yeah, actually it does.
All right,
That's
so
kind of
Leica,
awesome.
Bax, and Callista are chilling.
Yeah, those three are going to not take damage from this.
The one smart thing Bax has done.
So everyone takes 4 attacks, and everyone who has crossed the water takes an additional 2 attacks of damage. This is an area of effect attack, so the tax does not have to go to a single source, but in total, if you are still on the far side of the river, you have 4 attacks you need to distribute across your character. If you're on the near side, you have 6.
What can we
Nest will-
tax?
Anything.
Nest will use Aegis on their shield. I assume that only applies to Nest.
Yes. And as Jackie pointed out, the characters surrounded by Bax's shield are immune, which is Bax, Leica, and Callista. You see energy coming from Sappers and directing itself into the roots, but you see Sappers themselves, the core of the tree, diminish.
Is he like reducing in effectiveness turn by turn as he sort of withers away?
He's moving his effectiveness from his core into the roots in desperation. The roots will be rolling at an increased threshold now, but Sappers damaged himself by 5 points in order to do that. Because Sappers, the central tree, has its own separate hit point pool. And can be damaged by attacks if you so choose, but that would be ignoring the roots, which might be dangerous. Meanwhile, in the river, as for an opportunity to show up 1 turn early, can you make a 6 success piloting check?
Can I make 6?
Is it possible? Do you have enough dice that you can roll to make that happen?
I have 5 dice for piloting.
Can your teammates expend any resources to assist you to get an extra die?
Yeah, what do we need to tweak?
You're going
What?
against a current, so either magic that affects water, or are you willing to damage your boat to put it in overdrive?
I've already damaged my boat to get it here. So if you're asking me if I'm willing to damage my boat, how dare you?
It's
I'm willing to damage your boat.
Everyone here is willing to
Shari
damage
is in
their boat.
charge. Shari's at the helm.
Any of you
Oh,
may
the
die.
shipbuilder's
That's a
dilemma.
sacrifice I'm willing to make.
All these movies I've seen where the captain is so important, but who built the damn ship?
I think Star Trek does a pretty good job of demonstrating that is important. Does Captain Kirk order Scotty to fix the ship, or does Scotty send Captain Kirk on dangerous missions while he stays safely on board his ship? So, are you rolling any dice, or are we moving back to initiative order?
I vote for overdrive mode, personally. I'd prefer if Whoppy did have to mess with the cards, because Whoppy's cast a lot of spells today.
It's been a big day.
Yeah, I question, like, how would we push this ship further?
Well, what I was thinking was that those 2 marbles that we have in access, we just flood those in and make them go faster.
I'd allow that. You do 2 points of damage to the ship, and you can add your engineering dice to the piloting dice.
I mean, is that damage to the ship, or can you like cut the current with the blast of a cannon?
Well, if you're going to fire with a cannon, that's 3, not 2.
That's true.
I was thinking the 2 access that we have. Originally, I was going to have Whoppy solipsism into hopefully working, but with only 2. But if we have the 2, we could just flood.
No, that's fair. Yeah, we do that and flood the drive of the.
Cool. You're going to overcharge your drive with excess magic to make it go faster. That's definitely going to damage the equipment, but it'll make you go faster. Engineering check, then we'll add your successes to Shari's piloting check, and if you beat a 6, then you get to arrive 1 turn earlier than before.
Oh man, this is all ship related stuff? This is a horrifying roll.
You know what, Tice? That's fair. If you can give Shari 12 successes in total, then yeah, I'll have your ship arrive right now.
You know what? That's probably worth it for Whoppy to go reverse the current, essentially.
Okay.
So if Mita's going to do the engineering bit to make it go zoom faster, Whoppy will reach down and just reverse the current, essentially, to carry us. Or maybe Whoppy doesn't need to.
So there's 10. How many do we need?
Well, when Shari makes her piloting roll, she needs either 6 or 12 successes.
Oh.
Okay.
So
she's given
Shari 10 more
right?
dice. But let's see, if Whompy is going to also bend the currents, maybe there'll be even more.
We might have it with what we have, but I'm going to just get us there, because once we
15 dice is rough. I may have stole a lot of the luck because there's 4 10s in there.
We're still P8.
That's true. We're still P8.
Is Whompy... Oh, yeah. Is Whompy...
We're still 8/5, and let's just play it safe. Cards are reversed.
Okay, so that's 19 dice, 8 pips, and a threshold of 5.
Okay.
15 success. The ship arrives. I would like Shari to describe what it looks like as the ship enters this room. What do we see, oh Captain?
We're in like a cave, right?
That's right. Lit by magic, because there's a whole bunch of magic shit going on.
The ship is above the water.
Yes.
Okay.
The water is a river that's running through the cave. And this is like a bigger cave than the cave you just came out of.
Gotcha. Okay, so around the cave, around a corner in the cave, you hear like a cracking sound and some rocks start falling, and then a, a ship just careens around the corner. The currents seem to shift and start flowing in the opposite direction, and a ship just sort of careens around the corner like it's on a slip and slide, and just I don't know. I'm not sure. We've been told that the tree is bad, right?
Yes.
Like I just kind of aim the ship at the tree.
Are you going to jump it out of the water at the tree?
I'm going to beach the ship on the tree. That's the plan.
Awesome. So let's see. I'm going to take your remaining 3 successes there from your overkill and apply that as damage to sappers. As you jump the thing out of the water and just slide across and smack into the side of the tree. Delterra is a little shaken as she's like trying to undo the spell, but now there's a boat next to it. All right, and we're back at the top of the initiative now with everybody here. Shari, you're up first.
As soon as you said that, somebody.
That was very apt. You're back. It's okay.
Shari, you're up first in the initiative. You've arrived here. You want to jump off the boat and do something? There are 5 roots growing out of the tree trying to reach towards the river. And then there's the tree itself that you just kind of landed your boat against.
Okay. I take a quick survey of the situation. Yeah, I'll take a quick survey of the situation, and then there's no ship to pilot now, so I'll step out into the middle of the deck, point at the roots creeping towards the water, that seem to be in cannon range, and I will start directing.
Okay, cool.
I'll just say shots at the roots, and then point at the tree, and shots at the tree. I'll just point out good firing angles.
Awesome. If you want to go ahead and make a leadership roll, Araxi can make use of that immediately, because Araxi goes next in initiative. And Araxi already is at an elevated position. All right, Araxi, you've got 4 extra dice from firing angle trajectory analysis from your friend Shari.
All right. Varaxi doesn't have the marbles to shoot the cannons.
No. Araxi is standing on a rock on the other side of the river with a pair of crossbows and a really good firing angle.
Yeah. So, I mean, Araxi does one thing, she does it well. So, basically going to have her take the shots and ignore the portal, ignore the boat, just sort of take from her elevated position, glide over after she takes the shots so that she can be on the other side. And I'm shooting at A looks like it's been stopped, so I guess Route B's the longest now, right?
E is the longest currently.
E. Alright, Araxi will shoot at the longest and just try and sever it again. And then glide over is now on the hopefully on the other side. Hopefully I have enough height to get across this 15.
You have Gift of the Sky, right?
Yeah.
It's not even a roll. You make it. Okay. So, number A is going to try to grow. It only gets 5 dice instead of its usual 10. But the threshold bonus does help it a bit. It is still penalized, it will remain penalized, but it's grown a little bit. It is still only half as big as it was when it started, but it's got some growth to it. Next up is Elros. Elros, you're still standing behind Delterra, keeping her safe, and the boat has just kind of crashed into the tree next to you. What would you like to do?
Let's see here. Elros, starting to get a little bit low, but he still has a little bit of a kick to him. He's going to basically try to he's going to try to draw out the water out of the tree to try to affect sappers, make him even more thirsty.
Awesome! A direct attack against the tree. Go for it.
This is hands-on approach. Going to add what's it called? Scholarship and cunning.
They can't hear this, but I accidentally put Sapper's hit points on Kyleel's. I fixed it. No one noticed. Ooh. Okay. Are you just improvising, or is that a spell?
I'm improvising. Yeah, because
Cool.
I had advantage with hands-on approach on this problem.
All right, 7 damage directly to Sappers. Nicely done. Next up is Wampy. Welcome to the show. You've arrived in style. Are you going to fire the cannon, or are you going to leave that to me?
I'm going to leave it to Mina.
All right.
Wampy is kind of... That wasn't Wampy's thing. It was just what Wampy could do that was useful after.
Wampy, this is Sappers. This is Troll Friend.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah. Ooh. All right. So Wampy's going to hop off the boat. Is Sappers conscious right now?
Yes, but also kind of screaming.
Panicked, but conscious. Like, Sappers can hear anything that we say
Yes.
to him. Right?
Sappers
All right.
can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, Wampy's going to
Oh yeah,
Ghost.
and Miss Maybell is dead on the ground too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Wampy will have seen that because Wampy would be focused on Sappers.
Fair enough.
So Sappers is going to, or Wampy's going to walk over and stand basically in front of Sappers where all these roots are growing. And essentially just get in Sappers' face and say, Wampy thought Sappers was going to become the greatest mage ever. This isn't what great mages do. Great mages do what she does. It points to Delterra. They help people. They don't hurt people like this. And Wampy's going to try and grab a rip and take over.
Ooh, contested will.
Essentially just take over the growth of a root.
Fortunately for Wampy, Sappers does not have access to his cunning at the moment. He's got to roll this with focus, which is not as good. All right, so this is Sapper's focus plus scholarship. Sapper's kind of has disadvantage from the fireball, so I'm not going to give him his potential on this one. So you're up against 4. Anything you can do over 4 will count as damage against Sappers.
Is it damage against Sappers? Because I'm essentially just wrestling for a root here.
Oh, or, yeah, okay.
I want to basically control a root, so I decide now whether it grows or not.
Okay. Yeah, if overcome a 4 and you can pick a root, and that root belongs to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I could add my solipsism to this as well, because, I mean, it's kind of cheaty when I do it anyway, but...
I mean, you're exerting your will over reality. I think that's the definition of solipsism.
I'm doing it with my druidism, is what I'm asking here. Can I do both?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, that's an extra die. Yeah, that's the last pip of my staff. Dip.
You beat it. Pick a root. That root belongs to you.
Which one's the longest?
It's currently a tie between B and D, both at 17.
While people take B, because, yeah. While people take B and just take control of it, and, yeah. I guess on Wappy's turn, Wappy decides whether it grows or not?
Yep.
Okay. Do I get to do that now, or is it taking over just my turn?
Taking it over was your turn.
Alright.
But it doesn't get its turn, which was about to happen, so good job. Next up is Glup. Glup, you've arrived on the scene. Miss Maybell's lying dead on the ground. There's a giant tree. There's 5 roots. The boat is embedded in the tree. What you doing? Tice, are you there?
Oh, sorry. Blanked out for a second there. What can he do here right this second? Trying to think of exactly what the hell he can do. It's not really.
If you've been saving up any poisons, this is a good time for him.
Guess he can give the tree a hug.
That works. That's your paralytic one, right?
Yes. Spend the points.
Yeah, you are just poisoned.
Yeah,
Does-
any
is that
individual
even
coming
a
into
roll?
contact with your bear. You may pay 5 stamina. Says is immediately paralyzed until they overcome a Q8 poison.
A Q8. Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So that is going to be rough on Sappers there. Q8? That's wild.
If they come in direct contact with him.
And
That's
this
the
is
Q8.
direct contact, yeah. There's nothing
Yeah,
more direct than this.
it does take 5 stamina to do it, but yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
And that's all of my stamina.
All right. The vines are not going to be growing this turn. Nicely done, Glub. Cool. Next up is Chrysalazar. There is a bridge for you to cross now if you'd like to do some sword play.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll run across and experience the adventure. And be hopefully more effective hacking at these things with the sword.
Which one do you want to hack at?
Right, so A is stalled, B is mind controlled. Is that what we call a root?
Yeah. A is stalled, B is mind controlled, C, D, and E are paralyzed by a paralytic. A and B are also technically paralyzed by the paralytic, but they're otherwise reduced as well. And there's Sappers himself, the trunk of the tree.
I guess we're at the point where hacking, or not hacking, but just we want to stop the roots as much as possible, but also stopping the roots requires stopping the tree.
Well, the tree will die eventually if he can't reach the water within a certain amount of time, I'm assuming. But, it might be good to fuck up sappers too.
Basically, if he can't reach the water before Sappers dies, and Sappers is taking damage every round from his own psychological instability. Yeah.
I see.
So it is random how many rounds you have left, because I roll dice against Sappers at the end of each round.
Got it.
But Sappers also is there. You can attack Sappers if you want to.
Yeah, which is probably good since Sappers is currently paralyzed.
Yeah, I feel like if none of the roots are growing this turn and they're all fairly far away at this point, maybe we're just taking swings at Sappers at this point.
Yeah, and roots C and D have to get through 2 turns of being paralyzed. The rest only 1, but still. Brutal.
I'm not even sure if Sappers going to survive one shot from Gallista.
Gallista does not roll enough dice to kill Sappers in one shot at his current hit points. Sappers is not an elf anymore. Sappers is a tree. A very large structure. Not hard to hit, but hard to get enough damage into to kill it. At least in one shot. It generally takes a few swings of an axe to fell a tree. Alrighty. 5 damage, and that was 5 damage to which one?
And towards Sappers.
Sappers, okay. Cool. Alrighty, next up is Nest. Nest, there are some people in melee now, so a fireball might have some collateral damage to your teammates.
It's probably not the best. Honestly, I think Ness is just going to cross and get to Miss Mabel. And I assume finds that Miss Mabel is absolutely dead right now, right?
I would like Nest to make a cunning plus investigation roll.
I don't think that I could argue that one into scholarship, can I?
No.
Maybe if it was medicine, eh?
This roll
Yeah,
is
that's-
not about what you think it's about.
I actually think it's about what you think it is. But yeah. Can I add on my future sight?
Yes, 100%.
Do I get? I have a very weird question. Do I get my pips from? Actually, I guess it's more Ness making the emotional appeal rather than identifying one. But I'll just.
Ask your question because this role is
Well,
probably not what you think it's about.
Oh, I was going to ask if I could add my pips to emotional appeal because I think that Miss Maple may be faking it, but
That's not what this one is about.
okay. That's two.
Two. No, two is good. So, with two successes, you realize that if Miss Maybell is faking it, and you make any action that indicates that you might think she's faking it, sappers might think she's faking it, and sappers will stop dying immediately.
I still want Ness to investigate Miss Maple.
Okay, then you're going to need to make a stealth check to hide it from sappers.
Well, what I was going to do is act as if it's a body and I'm dragging it out of the fight.
Okay, performance
So it'd be
check.
more. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. And as I'm doing this, I'm checking to see, like, does she have a pulse? Does she have whatever? Like, I'm basically like half her like under her neck. I'm dragging her out of the fight because that's only damage is fireball. All right, that's the performance roll.
And that was his investigation roll to beat your performance roll. So, yeah, you succeed in your performance roll. Sappers does not suspect anything as you you drag Miss Maybell's corpse out of the way. Alrighty, are you gonna? That's it then. That's your action.
I was going to see, for my own benefit, if Miss Maple is faking it or not. Try and see that, but I don't know if I can put down enough dice to see through anything that she does.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you can tell, she's dead. Even if she wasn't, she'd be asleep. But she seems to be very dead. There's a lot of blood. Yeah, you do manage to performance it to be genuine enough that your suspicions are hidden. And, all right. Let's see. Branch C does not get its turn. Which means we're up to Reggie.
Okay, what's the root situation, I guess?
So Route A is at 10 out of 50, but it is slowed and paralyzed. Route B is at 17 out of 50, but has been mind controlled by Wampy and is also paralyzed. Route C is at 15, also paralyzed. Route D is at 17 and is double paralyzed. Route E is at 12 and paralyzed, and Sappers has some hit points left and is paralyzed.
Alright, everybody seems to be paralyzed.
Yeah, Glup did an incredible maneuver. Just paralyzed the whole root system.
So I guess I'll attack the tree.
Okay.
I'm gonna have my guy attack the tree. I'll say just destroy the aggressor, and then point at the paralyzed tree.
Cool. Yeah. Roll your dice. Hey, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
It punches and claws at the bark and then scratches it a bit. Next up is Trumpy. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
You've been on a wild ride.
Indeed.
Since you were on the boat, you're already on the side of the river that the tree is on.
Okay. I don't have any combat skills, so
Okay.
um,
Mari threw a rock. So
I have engineering. That's what I've got.
there may be some collateral damage if you try to collapse the cave in, but who knows?
I mean, I drove a ship into the wall, so
Yeah.
You're on the ship that has cannon.
yeah, I drove a ship into the cave, and now I'm firing.
Yeah, I just don't have any skills. Not to shoot, not to do nothing. I can throw a rock with a vigor of 1. That's all I got.
Cool. Whatever you want to do.
I mean, I'm just not sure how else to contribute to this fight as this character in particular.
This character's major contributions in getting ready for the fight. You're able to get ammunition for the cannon. Like, a lot of what's happened here is because Trumpy was there to get things set up. This might be time for Trumpy to just enjoy the spectacle of what Trumpy has created.
I'll do that with a spirited rock throw.
Awesome.
I fucking hit.
You do a point of damage.
I fucking hit that goddamn tree.
I'm recording it. It's damage.
Yeah. Go Trumpy!
Next up is Andre. Andre, you've made the portal. You can step through that portal now and do your thing. Whatever you want to do.
All right. I think he's not going to do that because he remembers how much more it hurt being, or how much more it might hurt being on the other side of that. So he's going to. Okay, so right now, is Sappers the tree? Like they're one and the same?
Yes, Sappers is the tree.
Got it.
Sappers is the roots, too, in many ways. Sappers is the whole of the thing.
I wonder if, like, would Henri be able to inquire with the Moon King what was the exchange on the other end of Sappers being created?
Oh, yeah. So the exchange was there were souls that were leaving bodies, and the Palladia wanted to rearrange which souls were in which bodies, and the instructions weren't supremely clear, but Palladia provided a reserve of belief energy, which went into the storage tank with all the other belief energy to be converted into Far Realm energy at Inui's convenience. And Inui did an amount of soul rearranging equal to the belief energy that he received. He wasn't entirely certain which souls were supposed to be rearranged, so he just kind of picked at random. essentially a very poorly worded prayer created this problem.
Totally. Yeah, and I want to be careful. I don't want to poorly word any future prayers. Um, I think what Henri is going to do is, I guess maybe I will cross the portal, and he's going to do an investigation to just kind of like see if there's any uh weak spots aside from the roots, like trying to find like is there any way we could potentially like kill multiple birds with one stone and target a specific area on the tree, like the root of the root system.
Cool, you're going to use Anui's gaze?
Yeah.
Okay, so Anui's gaze shows you that the root system is actually feeding energy into the tree, but that energy is empty right now. So while the roots have hit points, that hit points is sort of a representation of their progress, more so than the physical durability, which is balled up in the tree, and the tree itself is down to just 24 hit points. Sufficient focused attack on the core of the tree itself, particularly while the roots are paralyzed and can't make progress towards the water, is the weak spot.
All right, so Henri will yell that out to the group. Target the tree itself.
Cool. Next up is Zara. What would Zara like to do with that information?
She is going to target the tree. So, she's got her magic missile. She's ready to lock and load. Super excited to lob another missile grenade at the tree.
You know what to roll. That is a success and a free success.
Nice.
No,
She is maniacally laughing while she's doing this.
Do you have to roll for damage now? Or
Yep.
Wow.
Another 3 points of damage. Sapper started with 50 hit points, by the way. You guys are doing very, very large amounts of damage here. All right, next up is Mina. Mina with a cannon. You have enough marbles for one more shot, right?
That the math should tell that, I hope. I think we have, yes, one more. There's just been too much buildup. No. I mean, that's what she's going to do over anything else, so.
I couldn't have planned that out better myself, right? Like, you ended up with exactly enough ammo for one last shot. 21 points, and Sappers is dead. Glup is, like, that poison use was perfect. Sappers is pretty out of options right now. So even if this doesn't kill it, like, everybody else still gets a turn twice before Sappers gets to do anything. This is why, if you're going to be a bad guy, don't do it alone. Get a crew around you.
And make sure you don't have another crew that's also trying to.
A crew of, 18 children and like 3 adults? Yeah. Yeah, there's like 21 people here trying to beat the shit out of this one guy.
crew that is only able to do this because
Holy shit.
11
You
successes. That is huge. Wood is splintering. Sappers is screaming but is unable to move, unable to react. Let's see. Vine D misses its turn. Mari, you're up.
Mari will chuck another rock.
Is Mari like saying like fireball, lightning bolt as she's throwing the rocks?
Pretty much. I mean, I can. Is there anything to safely collapse in here?
There are stalactites on the ceiling.
Okay. That's the thing.
Gallista already used one of them against one of the roots.
I will chuck another rock.
Okay.
Success.
9 hit points left. Bax, you're up. Bax, do you want to hold your action and let Leica sing for you before you make your attack?
Just a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that was just a BRB.
Yeah, Jackie's right here with me. I'll ask her. Yeah, Bax will hold their action so that Leica can buff them.
All right, then Leica's up, which is also Jackie.
Ah, yes. She just was grabbing a water or something.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a second.
Yeah, it's another long one tonight, but I think once we finish the fight, we'll hold off on the aftermath till next session, and that'll be the end. We'll have a whole session of where these characters go from here. But let's find out who survives first.
Hopefully everyone.
Hopefully everything's going really well. Sappers has 9 hit points left and is completely paralyzed.
Although I do wonder what happens when we get those hit points. It's not like they may not die. They just might not be a tree anymore. But we will find out.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. Bax's action has been held, and then Leica is up.
All right. I would like to use ancestral power.
Which ancestor do you wish to call upon for Bax?
I actually have a question regarding Bax's action. Does Bax have to maintain the shield, or does it just automatically do that?
It just automatically does that. You put in the bead and the shield they're like a machine. They're not really a skill set to use. You just turn the key and the car is running.
Bax only has melee abilities. Is it possible for Leica, Bax, and Gallista to advance together?
Yes.
If that's the case, then I would like to do that, and Leica will sing the Heart Seeker, which is about the primordial predator looking for prey.
Awesome. And then
so I need to roll Leica's dice.
Yes, Leica's dice first, and then Andre had just shouted out for everyone to attack the tree and ignore the roots. Is Bax going to follow Andre's advice?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's get Leica's dice out there first to find out how much of a bonus Bax gets. Bax gets 6 extra dice. as the spirit of the hunt fills Bax.
So, excuse me, I'm rolling an additional 6 dice.
Yes.
And I'm going to use my heroic potential for Bax.
Absolutely. So, what does it look like as Bax kills sappers?
Bax takes the sword that was given to them by the blacksmith at the orphanage, thinking of all the people that have helped the orphans along the way, thinking about their new home, their old home, all the people that they've lost, and just lets out a primal scream, the blood-curdling roar of a predator, and thrusts it from the bottom of the trunk and splits it upwards towards the sky.
Awesome.
Like a sword uppercut.
And the splinters turn into ash in the air and fall to the ground. Sappers is no more. The roots wither, turn to ash, and collapse onto the stone floor. As Delterra finishes reversing the spell, sending the souls back to the bodies they were stolen from, and then begins lighting up the room with lights as the other adults wake up. Mrs. Bertail gets up, and Miss Maybell gets up, brushing the berry juice off of her face. She picks up the surprisingly stone-colored sponge that I had mentioned a few episodes ago that she has. I'm very proud of that. And I also had mentioned she had the baskets of the berries were on the table when you guys left. As well as the nuts that she now has in her hand, and single-handed cracks the nuts in what sounds very much like a bone snapping, but it is, in fact, nuts being opened up as she offers the kids a snack of berries and nuts. Because it's always important to bring a snack with you when you're taking the kids for an outing.
I was feeling my sugar was a little low, so, you know.
I guess Miss Mabel gets like overrun by a bunch of sad kids.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Says, don't worry, I'm fine. I just needed him to think I was dead because he had read a book that I had written. I had it specially made to look like it was from one of his favorite experts on trolls. But I had written in it that trolls had this relationship with their mission. I made the whole thing up. And this isn't how trolls behave, but it's how he thought they behaved, which is why this happened to him. He self-actualized his own defeat.
Oh, a self-fulfilling prophet.
It was easy to fulfill it. I wrote the prophecy. It is a shame, but I intend to take his ashes back to Peladia. And she starts sweeping up the ashes. In the meantime, I think we have a city that is going to deserve an explanation as to what just happened.
We can probably save that for an epilogue episode.
Yeah. So we'll next week we'll go up and meet the king, and you'll tell the city what happened, and then we'll look at where things go from there. Good job, everybody.
But before we finish, I want Whoppy to go over to the water and make a little water plant. And that's all I want them to do. Like a little water plant to mark the area.
To mark the place where it happened. That's sweet. I like that. Whoppy is a very sentimental halfling.
Yeah. Khalil will offer Miss Mabel a swig of Asha in commemorance.
Yeah, she takes it. She's had a rough day.
It probably still didn't feel good to fall down there.
No, it did not. And to fall.
And she had to not make any sound when she hit the ground.
Yeah, she had to resist grunting. She had to angle herself so that she would still be breathing when she fell asleep, but not in a way that's revealed, right? So she had to have the sponge look like it was impacted into her face in a lethal way. She soaked the sponge in the berry juice before she did any of this, so that it would squirt out right. But yeah, it was not an easy thing. And she had to make the cracking noise, she had to have the nuts already palmed in her hand, ready to crack as she landed without making any grunting noises. Yeah, those.
She's a really good liar. So good.
I like how Ness knows Miss Mabel well enough to know Miss Mabel would lie about and like fake this, but also couldn't possibly put down enough dice to see through it, despite knowing that she was doing. I just didn't want Miss Mabel to get killed by like splash zone area of effect stuff if somebody did that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm glad that you didn't immediately fireball the root of the tree. you fireballed the roots that were out there. You didn't fire the trunk of the tree. That would have been problematic. But yeah, it was a good job.
I figured firing at the tree wasn't going to be helpful until we stopped the roots.
Yeah, and if I kind of designed it so that if you really had focused on the tree, then the roots would have gotten there. But yeah, by splitting your attention, by neutralizing the roots first and then working on the tree, that was the right way to do it. And yeah. And Glup had the play of the game right there with that paralysis. Because part of the mechanic that I'd written in was that every round, the threshold for the roots growing was going to go down, and eventually it would hit 1, and they would just grow by 10 every round. But then you just stopped it. So, yeah. Awesome. We'll get into... next session is going to be kind of an N+1 session. Kind of like how we have a session 0, this is going to be a session finale. But the big boss is defeated. So, good job, everybody. And, yeah, we'll meet again next week.
So when we broke that spell, did everyone in the city get any parts of their souls that were taken away returned?
Yes. So that's what Delterra was doing that whole time. Instead of helping you by throwing fireballs and lightning bolts, which she absolutely had memorized, she was instead hacking the spell to give everybody their souls back.
Excellent.
Which did mean she had to take down her protective shield for a couple people, right? Because, one of the reasons she brought... So, Mabel and Burtail came along at Delterra's insistence because Delterra knew that they needed to be out of the shield in order to get their souls back. Anybody who was protected wouldn't be able... The soul wouldn't be able to get through the protection to get back to them. So that was part of that.
Yeah, so unless you were, protected the whole time and never were impacted by it. Yeah,
right, and for Mrs. Burtail and for Miss Mabel, that was not the case. They were impacted by it when it was first cast, and you kids later got them to safety. So they had to be back out in it in order for the reversal to occur.
Does that mean that Callista, because Callista was in the shield sphere, does Callista get her soul back?
I'm sure that Delterra would have had her come out of the shield sphere. Or something, yeah.
I mean, you'll also note that Bax likely exited the range of her companions by delivering the final blow.
Callista, yeah, Bax did run forward. That's true. So Callista may have gotten her soul back that way. The people who died, though, and this is an interesting thing, their souls are still embedded in the city. Now, it's only a few of them. It's probably not enough to make a troll. Probably. Who knows? Maybe some future adventure we'll find out. Anyway,
Cliffhanger.
shut down. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Right.